This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine, featuring the Dreamcast logo and several game titles. It highlights two Sega creators, Mizuguchi Tetsuya and Naka Yuji, and their new titles. Mizuguchi Tetsuya is associated with Space Channel 5, while Naka Yuji is linked to Samba de Amigo. Featured games include AM Showo Iku, Out Trigger, Emergency Call Ambulance, The Typing of the Dead, Dynamite Baseball 99, F355 Challenge Twin, and Puyo Puyo DA. Other games mentioned are Dogu Suki Hao, Rent a Hero No. 1, Eternal Arcadia, released internationally as Skies of Arcadia, Evolution 2, Far Off Promise, Shenmue, J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru, Zombie Revenge, Soul Calibur, Pro Yaku Team Wotsukuru, Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukan Retsuden 4, and Kido Senshi Nadesico The Mission. It also mentions a Sega development team versus Namco development team special feature. The magazine issue is volume 29, dated the 24th of September 1999, and priced at 420 yen. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Atsumare Guru Guru Onsen, which translates to Gather Guru Guru Hot Springs. It's a network game where you can chat with friends, create your own character from over 1 million combinations, and enjoy multiplayer games like Trump and Mahjong. The game also features fortune telling. It was scheduled for release on September 23rd and priced at 4,800 yen. There's a campaign featuring Hideo Kojima, mentioned at the bottom right of the advert. This page welcomes you to Guru Guru Hot Spring Village. It's a famous hot spring that's good for loneliness, encouraging you to connect and talk with friends you haven't met yet. It seems to be hinting at online interactions and relaxation associated with the Dreamcast. This magazine issue highlights several Dreamcast games and industry events. Featured articles include previews of Space Channel 5 and Samba de Amigo. An interview with Sega and Namco development teams is also included. The Let's Go to AM show feature previews several arcade games. Weekly News covers the upcoming Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn. Other features include a Dreamcast Magazine presentation and articles on Dogu Senki Hao. The Dreamcast Special Report section previews anticipated Dreamcast titles like Evolution 2, Eternal Arcadia, and Shenmue. Additional game introductions include Sushin Taisen Logic Battle Days Essen, Rental Hero No. 1, Atsumare, Guru Guru Onsen, J-League Pro Soccer Club, Wotsukuru, Revive, Sosei, and Zombie Revenge. This page is the magazine's game index, listing all the featured games and articles within. It's organized alphabetically in Japanese, starting with games like Atsumare Guru Onsen, which is Sega Gaga, and Eternal Arcadia, known internationally as Skies of Arcadia. Then, there's Kido Senken Nadesico The Mission, Cool Borders Burn, and Climax Landers. Moving on, it includes J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru, Shenmue All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 and Nippon Budokan, Kinki Sekai Evolution 2, Tui Yakusoku, Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Toukan Retsuden 4, Super Runabout Provisional, which is likely Super Runabout, San Francisco Edition, Speed Devil, Sentimental Graffiti 2, Soul Calibur, and Zombie Revenge. Further down are Tsushin Taisen Logic Battle Days Essen, D2, Dogu Senki Hao, Buggy Heat, Pro Yaku Team Otsukuru, and Papa Music 2. Finally, it mentions Mercurius Pretty End of the Century, Langrisser Millennium, Re-VE, Sosei, Rent a Hero No. 1, and World Neverland Plus, Orudo Ukoku Monogatari, is pretty. Each entry is accompanied by a page number, guiding readers to the relevant sections in the magazine. The Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn is previewed, with Sega prominently featured. Sega's booth will highlight Shenmue and D2. The show is described as a major gaming event where Sega aims to generate excitement, particularly with Shenmue. Other publishers like ASC2, Athena, Atlas, Capcom, and Konami, among others, will also showcase a variety of games across genres like SLG, ACT, and RPG. Many of these titles will be playable. Sega, along with Data East, Tommy, and others, will exhibit additional games, including Space Channel 5 and Zombie Revenge. Numerous titles from these companies are also marked as playable at the show. The information is sourced from Dreamcast Magazine Weekly News, with publication dates of September 10th and 16th. The Tokyo Game Show will feature a variety of exhibitors. Sega will focus on Dreamcast network gaming with Shenmue and D2, offering merchandise and stage events. Atlus will showcase Persona 2, Innocent Sin with character talks and gameplay demos. ESP will demo Divine Sealing, Ember Guard, and Grandia 2, along with merchandise. NEC Interchannel will host radio recordings and voice actor events. Taito will showcase Densha de Go 2, including tournaments and live performances, and distribute merchandise. Bandai Group will feature Banpresto titles with stage events. Capcom will have a large booth with merchandise. Konami and Compile will host stage events and tournaments. Jaleco and Hudson will feature voice actor events. Daikoku Denki will hold a Nabachi event. Data East will distribute promotional items. Messiah will hold a Langrisser event. MediaWorks will host talk events. And SoftBank Publishing will promote its website. This page details several news items and a Dreamcast campaign. Firstly, there's a Dreamcast Challenge Fair 99 campaign, where purchasers of Dreamcast software can win prizes like a Dreamcast original folding bicycle and key holders by sending in application tickets attached to the software. In news, the European Dreamcast release date has been pushed back to October 14th from the original September 23rd date to ensure network services are ready. An event is highlighted for the arcade game Spike Out, celebrating its first anniversary with a team battle tournament at Shinjuku Sportsland. Famous game personalities will be present at the finals on September 25th. Finally, Nintendo and Konami are forming a joint venture named Mobile 21 in mid-October to create new games for handheld consoles like the Game Boy Advance, aiming to set a new standard in the industry. This page is showcasing upcoming events and new game and music releases. Firstly, there's an event for the Jaleco Mahjong game, Idol True Confectionery Club, where you can meet Mika Kanai. Featured as a hard release is the Beeman Pocket Tokimeki Memorial, a keychain-sized handheld version of the popular Konami dating sim, Tokimeki Memorial. For a present, the Godzilla Generation visual book for the Dreamcast game is being released, showcasing the world of Godzilla. Another hard release is the WonderSwan FM Multiplex Data-Compatible Cartridge, which allows WonderSwan to receive disaster information via FM radio. Several music releases are announced for September 22nd. Sunny Day Service is releasing the single Dreamlike Lips. Hikaru Utada has a piano collection album out. The soundtrack for the PlayStation and Dreamcast shooter game Macross VFX2 is being released. Anime soundtrack Yamato Mania Mission 4 is also coming. EA's single Private Surfer is being released from her upcoming album. SDS will release the album Sad Blood Rock'n'Roll Sads. Aya Kageno's single Rebirth is also being released. Finally, the soundtrack for the music simulation game Guitar Freak's Second Mix is announced. This page is an exploration into the question, what is JAMA? It explains that JAMA is the Japan Amusement Machinery Manufacturers Association, an organization supporting the arcade amusement industry. The article details the history and evolution of the amusement industry organizations, including JAMA, and its relationship with other groups like AOU, All Japan Amusement Park Operators Union. There's a diagram illustrating the organizational changes within the amusement machine industry from 1959 to the present day, showing how different associations merged and evolved. The page also features a profile of the JAMA Association, detailing its founding, address, contact information, key personnel, and financial scale, highlighting its significance as a leading organization within the amusement industry. The article mentions the AM show, indicating it is related to JAMMA's activities. This interview with Hara Masaya, editor-in-chief of a gaming magazine, examines the Japanese arcade industry, focusing on JAMA and AOU. It details the evolution of JAMA, originally part of JA, and its relationship with AOU, highlighting the AM show, JAMA show, and AOU Expo as industry trade shows. The piece notes the decline in the arcade market and revitalization efforts, emphasizing the AM show's role in showcasing new products. It discusses the historical roles of NAO, National Amusement Operators, and their Expo, which merged with the AOU Expo. The interview also touches upon the Tokyo Game Show and CESA's involvement. Data tables comparing arcade game sales from 1993 and 1997 reveal trends in video games, metal games, and crane games, while images showcase various arcade machines. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Yugen Romanesque Ayakashi no Yakata, which translates to Mystical Romanesque Mansion of Apparitions. It's subtitled Ayame and described as a summer multi-story. The game was scheduled for release on September 23, 1999, and priced at 5,800 yen. The ad features an illustration of a female character in a blue kimono with purple flowers, looking over her shoulder. Below the image, details are provided including cast names such as Haruna Ikizawa, Mai Nakahara, Asami Sanada, Mayako Nigo, and more. The text mentions scenarios by Okazaki Hiroko and Sakamoto Masaaki, character design by Komatsu Yasuyuki, and notable voice actors. It also points out that it's a romance multi-scenario adventure game and a novel-type game. The developer listed is Sims Company Limited, and their website is provided. This page lists the Dreamcast Top 10 Software Sales Rankings. Number 1 is a new entry, Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, Whereabouts of the Colony of Falling Down, an action shooting game where you command units in the Gundam universe, emphasizing strategy. Another new entry at number 2 is Martian successor Nadesico, The Mission, a simulation adventure game focusing on the popular anime series, highlighting character charm and tactical battles. Soul Calibur drops to 3rd place, but remains popular with sales over 250,000 copies, praised for its character animations and in-depth character creation mode. Another new entry is Cool Borders Burn. At 4th place, a snowboarding game focused on score attack. Pro Baseball Team Otsukuru, a baseball team management simulation, is in 5th place, emphasizing strategic gameplay. Seaman is in 6th place and continues to sell well, with sales increasing 6-fold from the previous week, showing strong momentum. Shutoku Battle, a racing game, is in 7th and approaching 150,000 total sales. The House of the Dead 2 is in 8th place, featuring a new original mode with varied item effects and humor. The King of Fighters Dream Match 1999 is 9th, with enhanced 3D backgrounds on the Dreamcast. Finally, Dynamite Cop, Dynamite Deca 2, rounds out the top 10, a fast-paced action game recommended for casual players. Overall, the Dreamcast software market is active, with new releases performing strongly. This page highlights anticipated Dreamcast titles, ranked by readers. Shenmue tops the list, praised as a detailed, immersive experience. Grandia 2 and Super Robot Taisen Alpha follow, emphasizing companions and improved battles respectively. The top 30 list includes titles like Resident Evil Code, Veronica, Virtual On, Oratorio Tangram, Skies of Arcadia, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, showcasing the Dreamcast's diverse library. The weekly pickup features Communication Battle, Logic Battle. Daseisen, a network puzzle game. Coming soon showcases Dogu Senki Hao, a strategic simulation game. Side panels feature screenshots and descriptions of Rent a Hero No. 1 and Eternal Arcadia, highlighting their action gameplay and impressive visuals, respectively. This page presents 2 game charts and previews upcoming titles. The first chart, a Port Wish Top 20, details games readers want ported to the Dreamcast, with Dead or Alive 2 topping the list, followed by titles like Sakura Wars series, Tekken Tag Tournament, and Shin Megami Tensei series. The second chart, a video game income ranking top 15, ranks arcade games by income, with Virtua Striker 2 vs 2000 leading, ahead of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, The King of Fighters 99, and Tekken Tag Tournament. The page also teases upcoming arcade games including Outrigger, Puyo Puyo DA, Samba de Amigo, Rock = Thread 2, and Stepping Stage 2, highlighting varied gameplay experiences like maraca-based rhythm and stepping action. This page is a Dreamcast release schedule, detailing upcoming software and hardware. On the software side, the schedule is divided by release months and includes games planned for September, October, November, and December of 1999, as well as titles scheduled for release within 1999, January 2000, Spring 2000, and those with undecided release dates. Notable games listed for release in September 1999 include Popolo Craw 2, Climax Landers, ESPION AGENTS, Maboroshi Tsukiyo, Idol Janshi Otsukuchao, Atsumare, Guru Guru Onsen, Black Matrix AD Advance, Dancing Blade Kate ni Momotaro, Tears of Eden Kanzenban, Grauen no Torikago Capital 1, Keiyaku, and J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru. October 1999 games include Buro Buro Bushi, Mario Network Company, Sonic Adventure International, and super producers, Mezase Shobizkai. November 1999 features titles like Ao no Ken Space Griffon, Nabapa Tenban, Chande Las Vegas, Ryoku Aiku, Denku Tenshi Megamigari Shangri-La, Descrim Zone 2, Marineto no Sairai, Gufwa Yuza. December 1999 highlights Dreamcast controller Kenzen OH.I.RE, Kyuketsu Yoen Perpetual Blue, D no Shokutaku 2, and Nippon Pro Mahjong Renmei Kanshu Hihouden Mahjong Hishu. Games listed for release in 1999 without a specific month include Rainbow Cotton, Sunrise Ayutan, Hana Gumi Taisen Columns 2, and Battle Taishe. For hardware, the page lists peripherals like controllers, zip drives, and input devices, all scheduled for release within 1999. Dreamcast Magazine's reader rankings reveal Soul Calibur as the top Dreamcast game, followed by Sega Rally 2 and Sonic Adventure. A new entry, Mobile Battleship Nadesico, The Mission, gains popularity with its beautiful graphics and blend of simulation and action gameplay. The game appeals to Nadesico fans and balances adventure and strategy. Classic titles like The House of the Dead 2, Marvel vs. Capcom, Elemental Gimmick Gear, and Power Stone maintain strong positions. Several Japan-only titles also appear. Sonic Adventure enters the Hall of Fame for consistently high scores, demonstrating its lasting appeal and prompting speculation about future inductees. This page presents Dreamcast game rankings and reviews. The odds table All Dreamcast Soft B ranks games from 21st to 57th, including genres, scores, and VMU block usage. Games like Dynamite Cop 2 and Virtua Fighter 3 TB are listed. New Arrival Confrontation Horse Introduction reviews 3 newly ranked games. Cool Borders Burn is praised for its speed, graphics, and user-friendly trick system, with increasing difficulty. Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden, Colony no Ochita Chi Day, is noted for its strategic gameplay, sound effects, and immersive combat, although limited mobile suit types are a downside. Denpa Shonenteki Kyūyu Seikatsu Nasubi no Heya is a unique title with postcard communication, but suffers from limited food, slow stamina recovery, and sluggish controls. This Dreamcast-focused page announces new game releases and previews upcoming titles. It reviews 2 new games. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tukan Retsuden 4, a solid wrestling game, and Dancing Blade Kate ni Momotenshi, Complete Edition, an enjoyable adventure game with praised animation. The page also includes a reader-voted odds table ranking Dreamcast accessories, like the Puru Puru Pack. Reader comments on various games are featured in Outer Racecourse Dream Horse Voice. Furthermore, the page promotes a year-end reader race, where readers can win prizes by predicting game rankings, with Atsumare Guru Guru Onsen as the featured game for the week. Reviews are also presented for Soul Calibur, receiving a perfect score, and Kyosuba no Petit Seaman Kaiser Hakase's Ambition, a unique seaman raising game. Finally, a weekly special present highlights an arcade stick and visual memory set. This page features a review for Poppin' Music 2 on Dreamcast, which is rated 8 out of 10 by all 3 reviewers, a female user, a lead writer, and a guest writer. A female reviewer found it difficult but fun, noting the challenge of memorizing the 9 buttons but appreciating the training mode. They mention the large number of new songs but wish for more easier songs for casual players. The lead writer highlights the increased difficulty in the music compared to the previous game, stating it's more challenging but the added content is worthwhile. They are impressed with the VM game Doko Demo Popnin as a bonus. The guest writer focuses on the additional disc content, praising the large number of new vocal songs and the append disc support. They mention the marathon mode as being quite challenging and appreciate the inclusion of all previous songs from the original game. Below the review is a special preview section for Climax Landers, referred to in the West as Time Stalkers. It is described as not being a large-scale RPG focused on story or characters, but a solid RPG system to enjoy. The preview features comments from Tamaoki Miyoshi, who also worked on Shining in the Darkness on Mega Drive, expressing that it feels like a proper game-like game, especially enjoying the monster capture and training aspects. The preview suggests it is a long-awaited traditional RPG that fans have been waiting for. This page is an advertisement for SoftBank Publishing's Strategy Guidebook Campaign 99, which runs from August to September 1999. Prizes to be won include a WonderSwan handheld console, a GameSpot two-way bag, Neo-Ranga trading cards, and a 500 yen QUO card. To enter the draw, you need to send in application tickets from the cover of strategy guidebooks for games such as SD Gundam G Generation Zero and Soul Calibur. This page is a special report about the upcoming Dreamcast game, Space Channel 5. It's presented in a comic strip style, starting with an email received at the Dreamaga editorial office from someone calling themselves Moro Seijin, Morolian. The editorial staff initially dismisses it as a prank. However, a few days later, in Shibuya, people spot Morolians handing out flyers promoting Space Channel 5. The story builds anticipation for the game's reveal at the Tokyo Game Show '99, effectively previewing the game and its characters through this narrative format. This page is all about Space Channel 5. It seems to be showing a promotional event or behind-the-scenes look at the game's development with real people dressed as the characters. We see a person in a Mornian costume outside of what is labeled as the Sega Shibuya branch, being asked, "Why in a place like this?" Another panel shows two people receiving a folder from someone with a Space Channel 5 logo on it, asking, "What is this?" We also see a friendly-looking man, presumably from Sega, greeting two people with, "Yo, you too!" in a room with Space Channel 5 artwork. The bottom of the page shows a close-up of the gamebox art and the title Space Channel 5 and mentions mysterious documents handed over by Mr. Mizuguchi. What on earth is their content? It appears to be a playful and intriguing introduction to the game. This page is showcasing Space Channel 5, a music game for the Sega Dreamcast. The page highlights the debut of the new reporter Ulala, the main character. The game is set in space and involves rescuing Earthlings with rhythm and dance. It is described as a Space Channel game featuring bizarre aliens. The text mentions it is a winter release title from Sega, priced at 5,800 yen and for one player only. The game was revealed at Tokyo Game Show '99. The text further details the story as being about Ulala saving Earth from strange aliens through dance, produced by Tetsuya Mizuguchi, and promises a new type of heroine, Ulala, who will cause a sensation. Screenshots show Ulala and some of the Morolian aliens in action. A section for DC mentions the 70s futuristic motif and the Shikoritsu meter on the bottom left of the screen. This page is an introduction to the upcoming Dreamcast game, Space Channel 5. The page features a comment from producer Tetsuya Mizuguchi from SOF R&D Department No. 9, where he describes the game as a dancing detective game being developed in Shibuya, promising it will be a major title for Dreamcast. He encourages readers to visit the Tokyo Game Show to see it and check the official homepage. The page also introduces R.A.R.H.N., a new reporter for Space Channel 5, described as a rookie in her second year, born on May 30, 2477, under Gemini and blood type B. She is a dance-loving and energetic character who will save Earth. The official website for the game, http://www.spacechannel5.com/, is announced as open, and the tagline, "This winter on air," indicates the game's planned release timeframe. This page announces the latest game from Sonic Team, revealed as an arcade game called Samba de Amigo. It's highlighted as a sound game and is the second of 4 new announcements from Sonic Team this month. The game uses the NAOMI arcade board and is described as a fun and exciting maraca-based game, different in style to their usual Sonic games, with a sunny atmosphere. Screenshots show the colorful gameplay and characters dancing and playing maracas. The page also mentions Sonic Team USA and a recent San Francisco event, and notes the strong pre-orders for the Dreamcast in America. This page is all about the rhythm game Samba de Amigo. It's described as a super fun maracas game from Sonic Team, perfect for arcade enjoyment. The gameplay involves shaking maracas to match the on-screen prompts up, middle, and down. The page emphasizes how anyone can easily enjoy it, highlighting the simple controls and the addictive nature of the Latin music. Screenshots show in-game action with characters dancing and players aiming for high scores to achieve a C rank or better to clear stages. There's mention of a special stage event for the AM show from September 11th, Saturday, and 12th, Sunday, where people can experience the game for the first time at Sega booths. The page also touches on the popularity of Sonic in Taiwan, mentioning a Sonic Giant 7 entertainment show event that took place in Taiwan, drawing large crowds and featuring local artists, highlighting the global appeal of Sonic and Sega. Yuji Naka of Sonic Team discusses their recent activity. They reflect on a successful year for Sonic and announce 4 new Sonic titles in development. Despite an earlier statement indicating no new releases, the team is now focused on expanding the franchise. The interview highlights Sonic Adventure and the establishment of Sonic Team USA for overseas versions and debugging. A more enjoyable development process is being prioritized. 2 key upcoming projects are Samba de Amigo for Dreamcast and the announcement of the 4 new games at upcoming game shows, with the final title revealed at the Tokyo Game Show. The article also details promotional campaigns for Sonic Adventure, including a special CD giveaway and an event in Taiwan. Furthermore, North American Dreamcast launch celebrations for Sonic Adventure are planned, offering download content. Finally, a giveaway of a special CD and goods set is announced, with applications accepted until the end of September. The next week's title release date will be on September 17th, Friday. This page is a special feature called Namco vs Sega Development Department Special Interview Talk, celebrating the hit Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur. It's a special project to have a discussion between Namco and Sega, which is presented as a first in gaming history. The article discusses the rivalry between Namco and Sega in the arcade game industry, mentioning how they were always seen as rivals. The interview features members from the Soul Calibur Dreamcast development team from Sega and developers from Namco. The discussion revolves around their competitive relationship, particularly in the fighting game genre, mentioning games like Virtua Fighter, Ridge Racer, Daytona USA, and Tekken as examples of games from both companies that drove this competition. They discuss how this rivalry spurred innovation and development within both companies. This page is a feature article titled Namco vs Development Department, focusing on the development of Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast. It features an interview with Hiroaki Yotoriyama and Shinobu Nomura, key figures in the game's development. The interview delves into the challenges and experiences of porting the arcade hit Soul Calibur to the Dreamcast. The developers discuss the initial reactions to the Dreamcast's capabilities, highlighting the impressive graphics compared to arcade systems and previous consoles like Sega Saturn. They mention the development being a relatively short period but intensive, with challenges in optimizing the game for the Dreamcast hardware. They also touch on the differences in development approaches between Namco and Sega, contrasting Namco's detailed planning documents with Sega's more flexible and idea-driven style. A screenshot showcases a match in Soul Calibur between characters Cervantes and Sephidia. A side panel titled Episode 1 Namco and Sega Idea Origin explores the differences in planning processes between the two companies, contrasting Namco's meticulous planning with Sega's more spontaneous idea generation. Another side panel mentions Brave Firefighters and a Dreamcast fishing controller, showcasing the variety of peripherals and arcade conversions coming to the Dreamcast. The developers are impressed by the Dreamcast's potential and express excitement about the console's future. The next page is a special dialogue between the Sega and Namco development teams. The discussion revolves around motion capture and animation in 3D games, particularly comparing Namco's approach, known for games like Soul Calibur, and Sega's, exemplified by Virtua Fighter. The interview features Tetsuya Kikuta and Daiichi Katagiri. They discuss the philosophy behind creating realistic and appealing character motion. Kikuta mentions that Sega's approach focuses on intuitive and responsive controls, emphasizing the feeling of actually moving the character. Katagiri discusses Namco's focus on visually impressive and dynamic animations, highlighting the shoulder and waist movements in their character models as key points. They also touch upon the differences in game design philosophy, with Sega prioritizing immediate player experience and Namco emphasizing brand image and consistent quality across their titles. The conversation mentions Virtua Fighter 3 and Outrigger as examples of Sega games and Soul Calibur as a Namco title. Towards the end, they briefly discuss the Dreamcast hardware, with both developers praising it as excellent, highlighting its balanced performance and the potential it offers for game development. There's a mention of utilizing polygon balance sheets to optimize game performance on the Dreamcast. An interview between Namco and Sega discusses the development of Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast. This collaboration, unprecedented between the rival companies, is met with enthusiasm. Namco expresses excitement about creating a visually stunning and smooth-playing Soul Calibur, potentially surpassing the arcade version, while Sega highlights their request for Namco titles on the Dreamcast. Both emphasize the Dreamcast's capabilities for high-quality graphics and gameplay. Sega hopes this is the beginning of a fruitful partnership, believing it benefits the game industry. The interview, conducted at Namco's VS Development Department on September 1st, concludes with optimism for future collaborations, aiming to strengthen their relationship and invigorate the industry. This page is advertising a giant carnival Dreamcast wrestling tournament held at Shinjuku Sportsland. It's a tournament to decide the strongest wrestler in Shinjuku, with prizes for the first 32 participants and overall champions. The event, scheduled for various dates in September and October 1999, includes different game modes and locations across Shinjuku Sportsland branches, West Entrance, Main Building, and Central Entrance. The finals are on October 3rd at the main Segadori Arcade. The participation fee is 100 yen per match. This page is an advertisement for the KG Battle Country Turb Fanbook. It is announced as the final announcement, indicating it is the last chance to purchase. The fanbook is advertised as being related to Dreamcast and is described as an advertisement connection, thanking readers for their patronage. The fanbook is B5 size, has 104 pages, and costs 2,800 yen. A purchase order form is included at the bottom of the page. This page is an advertisement for the upcoming AM Amusement Machine Show, scheduled for September 11th and 12th. The focus is on Sega's NAOMI arcade system and the exciting new games being showcased. The article highlights the Dreamcast's synergy effect with NAOMI, positioning it as a high-end arcade platform. Anticipated titles for NAOMI include Sega AM2's Outrigger, Capcom's Spawn, based on the popular comic book character, and Tecmo's Dead or Alive 2. Screenshots of the House of the Dead 2 and Dead or Alive 2 are featured. The article reflects on the massive popularity of music games at the previous year's show, specifically mentioning Konami's Dance Dance Revolution. It questions whether music games will dominate again this year, or if a new gaming trend will emerge. A screenshot of Samba de Amigo is included, hinting at the presence of music games at the show. The event will be held at Tokyo Big Sight in Ariake. It will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, with entry until 4 p.m. Admission is 1,500 yen for adults, high school age and above, or 1,000 yen in advance, and 1,000 yen for women and elementary/junior high school students, or 500 yen in advance. Preschool children can enter for free. The article concludes by reiterating the question of whether music games will continue to be the main attraction this year, or if something new will take center stage at the Tokyo Big Sight event. The Amusement Machine Show preview showcases upcoming arcade games from Sega, Namco, and Konami. Sega features NAOMI arcade system games, including rhythm action games Samba de Amigo, the ambulance simulation Emergency Call Ambulance, the zombie-themed typing game Typing of the Dead, and action titles like Outrigger and F355 Challenge Twin. Namco highlights gun shooter Crisis Zone, the soccer game World Kicks, and puzzle game Mr. Driller. KONAMI focuses on music games, including Dance Dance Revolution, 3rd MIX, Beat Mania installments, and Popstan Music 3. Screenshots from several games are included, and Konami will host live performances by sound directors. The Amusement Machine Show previews upcoming arcade games from various publishers. Capcom highlights Spawn, In the Demon's Hand, Winter, Strider 2, and Great Magic War, both with unconfirmed dates. Tecmo showcases the playable fighting game Dead or Alive 2, October, Tondemo Crisis, September, One-on-One Government, Autumn, and Photoplay, Winter. Taito features Power Shovel ni Noru, construction simulation, and mentions Philip Mays and Mahjong King, all with unconfirmed dates. SNK promotes The King of Fighters 99 in Operation, Primitive Isle 2, September, and reference exhibits San Francisco Rush 2049 and Inversion. Jaleco presents Stepping Stage 2 Spreum and Rockin' Tread 2, both September, alongside Idol Janshi Suchipai 2i and Ravemaster, both in operation. Lastly, Psychio features the in-operation Tyson Hot Gimmick 3 Digital Surfing and the autumn-scheduled Strikers 1999. This page is a preview of the new Dreamcast game Outrigger, which is described as a highly anticipated title from the AM show event. The page features interviews with Hiroshi Kataoka, the director of Sega Software R&D Department 2, and Daiichi Katagiri, the game coordinator. Kataoka mentions that development started around the time Virtua Fighter 3 was finishing, and they wanted to create a new type of multiplayer combat game. He acknowledges the influence of Spike Out, a previous 4-player arcade game, but emphasizes Outrigger as a different experience, focusing on player versus player combat. Katagiri discusses how they considered various elements for multiplayer gameplay, and aimed to create something different from one-on-one games, highlighting the chaotic and engaging nature of Outrigger. The screenshots show gameplay in 3D environments, including an icy stage with submerged submarines and a celestial observatory stage. The text mentions that these are just some of the varied scenarios planned for the game. The game uses a first-person perspective in gameplay as indicated by the HUD elements in the screenshots. Key features listed for Outrigger include: developed by Sega Software R&D Department 2. Planned for autumn release. Quote, communication action shooting. Runs on NAOMI hardware. Supports 14-player communication battles. In essence, this page is introducing Outrigger as a new and innovative multiplayer arena shooter for the Dreamcast, emphasizing its departure from existing titles and its focus on fast-paced player versus player action. Outrigger did receive an international release on Dreamcast. This page is focused on the development of the full-scale network game, Outrigger. The developers wanted an operation system that allowed for both movement and viewpoint control simultaneously. They found that while the control system might initially seem complex, it becomes intuitive once players get used to it. A new control method was implemented, and they acknowledge it might be challenging initially, but it becomes easier to understand. They also prepared assist sites and functions for players, including a beginner mode in Outrigger. The assist functions in beginner mode are designed to help new players, for example, making aiming easier and helping lock onto targets. The page highlights the use of both the eyeball and trigger controls together, emphasizing how this expands character movement options. The developers mentioned that while experienced players might find the controls similar to other games, Outrigger aims to provide a fresh start for everyone, emphasizing that the unique control system is intended to be broadly adopted and enjoyed by players who are new to this style of game. Outrigger, an arcade game previewed in this article, is a time-based competitive game with an emphasis on high scores within a time limit. Developed by veterans of racing games, it boasts impressive visuals and allows for quick match entry and exit. The game offers simple controls with both automatic and manual options. Players score points by defeating opponents, with the highest score at the end winning. The game features 4 unique characters: Jay Aragaki, balanced; Lena Miyagi, speed-focused; Alain Orange, similar to Jay; and Talon Grant, unique weapons and abilities. Each character has distinct weapons, and players are encouraged to master their chosen character and adapt to the map. The article emphasizes the game's accessibility for casual players, while promising depth for those seeking strategic mastery. This preview for Outrigger, Change-Rich 9 Stages, showcases 4 maps: Icefield, Observatory, Coliseum, and Blast Furnace. Players utilize 3 weapons and items, including a thermal scope. Developers Kataoka and Katagiri discuss weapon balance, emphasizing each character's basic 3 weapons and stage-acquired options, with limited ammo for some. The AM Show version is nearly complete, with a focus on fun player-versus-player battles. The developers aim for 9 stages, highlighting how map design impacts tactics, from beginner-friendly to strategically complex layouts. Hiding and item discovery add depth. They encourage trying the game at the AM Show, especially versus mode, and express excitement and uncertainty about player reception, acknowledging their new genre. Demos and participation with the developers will be available at the Sega booth on September 11th and 12th. This page features 2 new arcade games being previewed. The first game is The Typing of the Dead, a spin-off from The House of the Dead 2. In this game, instead of using a light gun, you use a keyboard to type words to defeat zombies. It is described as a keyboard input action game for arcades. Developed by Sega's Soft One Research Department, planned for release in 1999, supporting 2-player co-op and running on the NAOMI arcade board. There is also discussion about a potential home console version for the Dreamcast, highlighting that the Dreamcast has a keyboard and suggesting it would be good for beginners to learn typing. The second game preview is for Emergency Call Ambulance, likely localized title. This game is themed around being an ambulance driver, rushing patients to the hospital. Developed by Sega's Soft One Research Department and planned for an October release, it is categorized as a career game and uses the Model 3 arcade board. Both game previews include comments from the Sega Soft One Research Tanaka department manager. For Emergency Call Ambulance, the manager highlights the improved graphics and aims for a user-friendly baseball-style game experience, emphasizing easy controls and up-to-date data. For The Typing of the Dead, the manager suggests that with keyboards becoming common, this new interface is relevant, positioning it as a series evolution that could also be suitable for Dreamcast as a typing practice tool. This page showcases 2 upcoming arcade games. First is Emergency Call Ambulance, a driving game where you play as an ambulance driver rushing to accident scenes to pick up patients and transport them to the hospital. The game features a help point system, where points decrease as you drive poorly or crash. It boasts dramatic presentations and Chicago-like city environments as the setting. Next is Dynamite Baseball 99, a realistic baseball game developed on the NAOMI arcade board. It promises realistic player appearances and powerful camera angles, fully capturing the essence of professional baseball. Officially licensed by Japanese baseball organizations, the game features real player data. Controls are described as simple, with a 1-lever and 2-button setup with bat switch. 2-player versus play is available. The game is developed by Sega, Soft First Lab, and was slated for release in October. This page from Dreamcast Magazine previews the game F355 Challenge at the AM Show Sega booth. The article highlights the game as a visual memory compatible title focusing on the twin-type cabinet experience. It features interviews with producer Suzuki and racer Keiko Ihara, discussing the realism of the F355 Challenge simulator. Keiko Ihara mentions that she uses real car driving for practice and encourages players to practice in the game. She highlights the game's realistic feel, particularly in cornering and braking. The event is scheduled for September 11th and 12th at 11:40 a.m. Keiko Ihara's profile mentions she was a '98 Benetton Formula One image girl and is now a racing driver competing in Formula Toyota. This page covers a preview of a new racing game at the Amusement Machine Show, AM Show, focusing on the twin-type feature that allows data saving and network ranking. The article features an interview with Yu Suzuki and a racing competition between female rider Ihara Seiko and male rider Masamune Daisuke. Yu Suzuki discusses the realistic nature of the new game, highlighting features like linking systems for versus play, detailed course representation, and the use of visual memory for saving replay data. He mentions that player data can be used for network rankings, and demo performances are planned for the AM show. He also mentions that visual memory of 100 kilobytes can be used, and in the past, 32 bytes were used. The article then details a racing battle between Ihara Seiko and Masamune Daisuke on Suzuka and Sugo circuits in the game F355 Challenge. Round 1 is on Suzuka, where Ihara wins. Round 2 is on Sugo, where Masamune wins. The article includes lap time graphs and driver comments. Ihara's best lap on Sugo was 1 minute 29 seconds, and Masamune's best lap was 1 minute 32 seconds. There is also a special present mentioned, signed colored paper by Ihara Seiko, to 3 people. This page is a preview of the upcoming arcade game, Puyo Puyo DA, featuring Elena System, a new title in the Puyo Puyo series, planned for release in autumn. This time, Puyo Puyo is surprisingly a dance game and playable by 2 players on the Naomi arcade system board. The game features polygon graphics for familiar characters like Arle and Skadeso, who will dance on screen. The gameplay is simple, using 4 buttons and special input buttons. Players learn dances by watching on-screen prompts and pressing buttons in time with the rhythm and arrows. Success in dancing sends Nuisance Puyo to the opponent. The game is based on the Elena system, which originates from Roadway Legend Elena, featured in Disc Station Volume 4, a game where players mimic the teacher's dance moves by pressing buttons. The preview emphasizes that battles are exciting, incorporating elements of sending Nuisance Puyo, similar to the puzzle game Origins, and each character has unique special dance patterns to discover and use against opponents. The main character Elena is also shown in a screenshot. This page is the front cover of Game Machine Issue 4 from April 1999, highlighting 2 main features. Feature Story 1 is titled Sega's Counterattack, and is a cover interview with Masashi Sayeki from Sony Computer Entertainment, likely discussing Sega's Dreamcast strategy from a competitor's viewpoint. Feature Story 2, Adal Good Ja, focuses on popular games that are exciting to enthusiasts, asking, what makes Mania hot? The special section lists games including Tama Runner and Cheerful Companions, a Japanese-only racing game, Concept Expansion, likely referring to the Saturn expansion, and Ace Combat 3, Electrosphere. It also mentions a segment called Zegare Ijiri, where they talk with Kitsune Akimoto. The GM Recommends section lists recommended games like Klonoa, Door to Phantomile, Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2, and surprisingly, Mario Golf 64 for the Nintendo 64, alongside Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series Volume 3. Departure Poem, a Japan-only title. Other recommendations are Seaman, Poppin' Music, Kuon no Kizuna, Sairin-sho, which was Japan-only, Buggy Heat, Stratosphere, Over My Dead Body, another Japan-only release, Comic Party, also Japanily, and 99 Kushen, a Japanese baseball game. Interestingly, it also mentions EverQuest and Tribes, both PC titles, in the recommendations, possibly highlighting popular games across platforms at the time. The final word, akogare, meaning yearning or longing, could be a concluding remark or theme for the recommended titles. This page is an interview feature with anime director and game creator Ichiro Itano, known as Anime World's Genius, discussing his approach to game development. Itano, who has worked on anime like Macross, Mobile Suit Gundam, Space Runaway Ideon, Fist of the North Star, and Tekkaman Blade 2, is described as bringing his unique style to games. He talks about his philosophy of game design, stating he dislikes games that force players to constantly reset and prefers games that allow players to overcome challenges through perseverance, finding satisfaction in clearing difficult situations. He mentions a project he is working on, tentatively called Dogu Senki Hao, and expresses his desire to create games with the strategic depth of the Mega Drive title Advanced Daisen Ryaku in terms of irregular situations. He also references his previous work on Macross VFX2 for PlayStation. The page includes a photo of Itano Ichiro and text highlighting his roles as planner, original concept creator, director, and coordinator. The surrounding imagery includes items on a desk, hinting at a creative workspace. This page is a preview for the game Dogu War Chronicles, Heyo, published by Victor Interactive Software. It is described as a different dimension fantasy simulation, game planned for release in winter, priced at 5,800 yen, and featuring a two-player mode. The game is being showcased as a special exhibit at the Tokyo Game Show 1999, and is stated to be 20% complete. The interview with the creator discusses the game's scenario, which isn't just a typical strategy game, but delves into environmental considerations, and the conflict between factions called Nibiru and Mu. The Dogu, used in the war, possess destructive power akin to nuclear weapons, capable of shortening a planet's lifespan. The game aims to explore the theme of coexistence with nature, and the creator expresses a desire to create a new trend in games that makes players ponder the deeper meaning behind the Dogu. This page is a Dreamcast special report focusing on the game Dogu Senki, which translates to Dogu War Chronicles. The game is set on Mars, long before humans existed on Earth, and revolves around a conflict between the indigenous Mu and the invading Nibiru. It's described as an ancient fantasy simulation game, featuring unique unit groups based on ancient artifacts and insects, a distinctive combat system, and a deep storyline centered on nature's harmony and obedience. The article introduces the world setting and unit types, as well as the game system. Key characters are highlighted, including Mumu, the nature-veering queen of Mu Country, Queen Amat, the 43rd generation queen facing tougher times, and the wise god officer Gaga. Character designs are by Mikimoto Haruhiko, a well-known character designer. The game seems to emphasize strategic elements and a unique world based on ancient mythology and fantasy. Dogu Senki was not released outside of Japan. The next page features information on the game Dogu Senki Hao. It introduces the world and key characters in the story of races fighting for survival. The Nibiru Kingdom, described as a super-scientific civilization, is invading the land of Ramu, home to the peaceful Mu people. The Mu fight back using Dogu robots. Character introductions are given for Nibiru King Rahabu, Prince Abusu, veteran General Kisharu, young elite warrior Ansharu, and the ambitious Marciaru. The page also names Fukuyo Takaaki as the character designer. This page delves into the world of Dogu of Mu Country, showcasing these powerful creatures as the main focus. These Dogu, described as war machines from the land of Mu, range in size from 6 to 10 meters. They are powered by elements of nature and are incredibly strong. The page details different types of Dogu. The Earth Dogu comes in large L and small s sizes. There's also a Fire Dogu, S, and a Wind Dogu, L. The Fire Dogu is described as a powerful unit that manipulates fire elements and is used by high-ranking figures like the Mu Queen in battle, boosting morale, and intimidating enemies. It excels in attack and defense and can utilize element and weather manipulation. The page features concept art and screenshots showing the Dogu in action. It mentions that the Dogu are enlarged through a ritual, growing from palm-sized to massive war machines using the Queen's elements. The mecha design for these units is credited to Itano Ichiro, known for his work on Dogu Senki, although the page mentions he works on game design too. Itano states he is trying to create units that players will grow attached to and feel are useful in the game, emphasizing unit design should convey messages to the player. This page delves into the world of Dogu Senki Hao, a strategy RPG featuring mecha designs by Kazutaka Miyatake and Tomohiro Kawahara. The page introduces the Neville faction, an advanced civilization known for its insect-type weaponry, born from their vast scientific knowledge accumulated over eons while traversing the galaxy and conquering stars. Their military prowess is evident in their flagship units, which boast overwhelming combat capabilities compared to standard units, though they may lack special abilities seen in other factions. The page showcases 4 distinct Neville mecha units. The Metal Ant is an ant-type unit. The Tiger Needle, a WASP-type unit, utilizes needles for attacks and employs dissolving liquid to eliminate enemies.
The Dragon Snake, an armadillo type, is also featured.
Lastly, the Escalg, a snail-type unit, is also shown. The designers for each are credited, with Kazutaka Miyatake responsible for the mecha design and Tomohiro Kawahara as the mecha design for the Tiger Needle and Escalg. Screenshots depict these units in gameplay, highlighting their insect-like appearances and in-game stats. The game is described as showcasing the deadly struggle of Neville's superweapons. This page introduces Biofield and God's Rhythm for the Dreamcast. It details the game's Biofield system, where the battlefield environment dynamically changes, impacting gameplay. The God's Rhythm system is also featured, potentially related to natural disasters influencing the battlefield. The game utilizes 6 elements: light, fire, wind, darkness, water, and earth, and their relationships affect unit strengths and weaknesses. Weather and irregular elements add further tactical depth. The page also highlights the development dedication of Ichiro Itano. This game was showcased at the Tokyo Game Show '99 autumn event. This page is focused on the game Dogao Senki, Ogre King, detailing the Element Stone power-up system. It explains how to strengthen your Dogao creatures using elemental stones found in the game. By fusing these stones, you can enhance your Dogao's abilities, such as attack and defense. Repeated fusion can also change the Dogao's form and grant new special skills. The article mentions that the strengthening process takes place in the Queen's Room location within the floating city of Mercure. The page also touches on the 2-player battle mode, emphasizing the tense battles and comical animations. It mentions that despite the cute appearance, the Dogao units are powerful and can unleash large-scale attacks. The article highlights that units have defense stats, preventing instant destruction and adding a strategic layer to battles as attack and defense parameters decrease with damage, creating tension in each fight. The developer comment by Itano Ichiro emphasizes the fun of competitive play and the community aspect of the game. The next page focuses on the Dreamcast game Evolution 2, Faraway Promise, highlighting it as a highly anticipated RPG sequel. The page introduces the character Mag Launcher, giving his profile details and mentioning that he is voiced by actress Minami Omi, known for roles like Ruri Hoshino from Martian successor Nadesico. Takahashi Miyake, who voices Leonia, is also featured. The page includes a character voice section with interviews from both actresses, where they discuss their roles and how the characters express themselves in Evolution 2. Minami Onami mentions that Mag now has more dialogue and expresses his intentions more clearly. Takahashi Miki talks about Lilinia and her personality. Game details mentioned are that Evolution 2 is an adventure drama RPG, scheduled for release in 1999 by ESP Sting, playable by 1 player, and supports visual memory and VGA output. Screenshots show in-game battle scenes and town environments. It's also announced that Evolution 2 will be exhibited at Tokyo Game Show '99. The Evolution 2 Far Off Promise page details the game's opening, following protagonist Mag and his companion's chaotic train journey to a new continent to investigate ruins. Mag, Panam Town's top adventurer, is predictably late, setting the stage for their adventure. The page also introduces Linear Canon, a mysterious character known for her difficulty interacting with people and reserved emotions. A key feature highlighted is the Dreamcast visual memory, which will display Linear's expressions and the time. The visual memory provides practical benefits and a way to interact with Linear even outside of the game. Finally, there's an announcement for the Tokyo Game Show '99 autumn, where ESP will offer a free download of Linear clock data for the visual memory. This page is a world guide for Evolution 2, a Dreamcast game. It describes the game's setting as a world combining ancient civilizations and modern technology. The main character is Mag, an adventurer exploring ruins.
The game revolves around dungeon exploration. The page highlights the new setting, Paldea Continent, which features the town of Miyuyi and various ruins. A character profile is introduced for Grenade, described as a butler in the Launcher family who has served Mag since childhood, handling various tasks and finances. The game system section explains the gameplay flow, broken down into 3 steps. Step 1. Adventure preparation. Players form a party by selecting companions at the guild. The party size can be 23 members, including Mag, and players should equip their characters. Step 2. Job request. Players accept requests to investigate ruins from the society. These quests will be scenario dungeons to explore. Step 3. Ruins exploration. Players explore dungeons, defeat monsters, and collect treasure. After returning from the ruins to town, players can exchange treasure for money and enhance their equipment at shops. Memger Treasure Fee serves as the central hub for item purchases and information gathering.
The next page highlights Evolution 2, Far Off Promise. It introduces the adventure spots, focusing on RPG elements, like conversations with townspeople and gathering information. It mentions the city of Museville as a key location and emphasizes interacting with residents and exploring the city. The article points out that all characters have detailed backgrounds, names, and personalities, and player interaction with them is key. It also teases new elements in Evolution 2, including scenario dungeons, which are described as deeper than random dungeons and centered around scenarios, enhancing the adventure and puzzle-solving aspects. The page features screenshots showcasing characters, dialogues, and in-game environments. It also introduces a character profile for Chain Gun. Cyframe is a game centered around ancient machines that grant mysterious powers. Players collect and customize Cyframes, combining different parts to unlock various skills and combat styles. Compatibility is key when combining parts. The game features a turn-based battle system driven by an action meter. Faster characters act first, and powerful actions delay subsequent turns. Players manage their characters' HP and FP, used for special moves, with positioning affecting attack and defense. Enemies possess special attacks and inflict status ailments like poison and paralysis. The game includes a character named Carcano, a treasure hunter, seeking the Cyframe's secrets. Screenshots showcase battles, character stats, and command menus, with options for attacking, using skills, items, moving, defending, and fleeing. This page focuses on the game Evolution 2, Far Off Promise, known as Evolution 2, the world of Sacred Device internationally. The page details the game's systems, Cyframe parts, skills and points, and power-up system. Cyframe parts are additional items that grant new skills, even for characters who normally wouldn't have them, such as healing abilities. Skills are magic-like abilities that consume FP points, earned through experience TP points, with FP recovering after actions. Cyframes can be strengthened at workshops using upgrade kits found in dungeons.
A section emphasizes how the order of actions creates strategic gameplay.
Another section,
New Elements of Evolution 2 Recheck 2, discusses new features, like enemies reacting to the player by signaling their presence and becoming more aggressive. The command system is improved, allowing all party members to move to the back row to flee encounters more strategically. Status ailment recovery is also improved, now happening after battle, unlike the previous game where it was only possible with items during battle. Finally, a character profile 6, Pepperbox, is featured, but no details are given beyond the name.
This page is a special report from Dreamcast Magazine introducing a new RPG in development by Sega, showcased at the Tokyo Game Show in 1999. The game is themed around powerful airships battling in the skies, connecting floating islands inhabited by people. The page features screenshots of these diverse ships, highlighting the variety born from different cultures, and poses the question of whether players can achieve victory and freedom in battles against enemies. It is noted as an RPG for one player, with both the release date and price still to be decided, and compatibility with peripherals is also undecided. This page is dedicated to the Dreamcast game Eternal Arcadia, known internationally as Skies of Arcadia. The page highlights the theme of Sky Pirates of the Blue Sky, with descriptions of airships. The top left text reads, "Freedom and pride at stake, Sky Pirates of the Blue Sky running through the great sky." The main character, Vice, of the Blue Rogues, is introduced and his ship is described as a powerful vessel for pirates, designed for combat against warships and enemy pirates, embodying the spirit of the Blue Sky Pirates. The green airship is labeled Blue Skull, Righteous Thief. The text notes it's smaller than the previous ship and not as grand, but painted in a striking blue-green and marked with a blue skull. It is speculated that it is designed to engage in boarding actions. The bottom right text box, titled Expressing the Spirit as Sky Pirates, features a comment from producer Rieko Kodama. She mentions that sky pirates live freely, but have their own sense of justice and beliefs. She expresses a desire to portray this spirit in the game world, and hopes players will encounter many sky pirates during their journey and experience their unique spirit. This page focuses on Eternal Arcadia, known outside of Japan as Skies of Arcadia. It details the game's powerful military forces, which are supported by what is described as science. The article showcases various screenshots of the game's impressive airships, highlighting their advanced and seemingly magical technology. The text emphasizes the sheer power and technological prowess of these airships, suggesting they are beyond conventional science, possibly bordering on legend. It also promotes the game's appearance at the Tokyo Game Show, inviting readers to witness the aerial battles between these warships in person. The text mentions the main character Vise and teases the game's world setting with floating islands and the concept of an age of great aerial navigation. This page is all about the upcoming Eternal Arcadia game at the Tokyo Game Show Sega booth. The page is an interview with the general producer Norikatsu Ukioba and producer Rieko Kodama, discussing what attendees can expect to see. The first section talks about the stage presentation, confirming there will be a stage talk show with the producers, and that gameplay footage will be shown on a big screen for the first time. The producers mention that users will get to see the game in motion, which is a highlight. The next section discusses the talk show, hinting at behind-the-scenes stories about the game's development and characters. They mention that they are particular about the characters, both male and female, and their roles within the story, emphasizing making sure the characters are well-defined. The secret event section teases the possibility of unannounced events and character reveals during the stage show. They mention that they want to show scenes with flying through the sky and also hint at revealing about 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 unannounced characters. Finally, it mentions a stage event bonus attendees will be able to get a special Eternal Arcadia clear file at the Sega booth if they attend, while supplies last. The page includes a screenshot of the game featuring Vice, Aika, and Fina. It's emphasized that this special clear file is exclusive to the Tokyo Game Show. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Daisen Ryaku V2, which translates to Great Strategy V2, and is described as a logic battle game where you can enjoy network battles. The game is highlighted as being inspired by submarine games and aimed at users in their 20s and older, emphasizing its depth. It's noted that Dreamcast features enable communication battles. Details mention that it is from 45, with the release date and price yet to be determined. The game supports logic battles, communication features, Rumble Pack, and VGA Box. This special report is announcing this new title. This page introduces the logic battle game, Shunkashu Island, set in a spring-like island that is suddenly covered in snow by mysterious figures. The game is about battling unseen enemies to bring spring back to the island. The game features deck building and strategic board battles. Players select characters and build decks at their home base before heading to Battle Park for combat. The battle system involves deploying units on a board and attacking the opponent's Bingo-kun. Players deduce the location of the opponent's Bingo-kun based on clues provided, such as directions, up, down, left, right, or hints like Bingo-kun is not nearby. The core gameplay revolves around logic and deduction, aiming to destroy all of the opponent's Bingo-kun to win. The page emphasizes the strategic depth of the game, where understanding the opponent's board setup is key to victory. It also highlights the communication battle feature, suggesting multiplayer functionality. This page introduces the 8 groups of playable characters for a Dreamcast game. The question posed is, player characters are in 8 groups. Who will you play as? The page showcases each character group with an image and a short description. The character groups are Anya and Unya, described as dynamic and silent mystery twins. Paprika, described as a soothing small animal. Flora, described as a household helper. Sarah, described as colorful and spoiled. Baron, described as curious and full of questions. Cube, described as strong with a sword, weak with a drill. Seiji, described as, "Am I okay like this?" Leather, and Basil, described as righteous and cheerful. The text mentions that each character has a different story to experience. This page features the Dreamcast game, Logic Battle Tizen, Daisessen, a logic battle game set on Shunkashu Island, highlighting that players will encounter more than just opponents. The page introduces some of the island's residents, such as Tadat, a nun from the Tadat church who offers cookies, and Medi, a maid who runs a shop where you can purchase expansion boards to enhance your battles. The game involves network battles and logic-based gameplay, and winning battles against Medi might unlock special events on the field. The page also touches upon character customization, allowing players to dress up their characters with costumes like maid outfits or pajamas, purchasable at a special shop. This page is all about the Dreamcast version of Rente Hero No. 1, which is being called a 3D action RPG and is for one player only. Sega is developing it, but the release date and price are still to be decided. The article focuses on the Penguin Restaurant mission, which is apparently an early part of the game and acts like a tutorial for players to learn the Rent a Hero system. It seems like the main character takes on jobs to earn money. The sound is being supervised by Hiro, who worked on the Mega Drive version's music. He's also creating new sounds for this Dreamcast release and is known for his work on classic Sega titles like Fantasy Zone, Outrun, Afterburner, and Power Drift, which are all listed here in his discography. Hiro mentions in a handwritten note that he is working on new songs and sounds for Rent a Hero. This page is excited about the Dreamcast game Rental Hero No. 1 returns, highlighting the evolution of the Penguin Restaurant from its 2D Mega Drive origins to a fully 3D environment on the Dreamcast. They even point out that the in-game Penguin Restaurant is modeled after a real Tokyo restaurant called Chinese Cuisine Beijing, and dishes like pimendan, which appear in the game, are actually on the restaurant's menu. It's announced that there will be a Rental Hero stage show at the Tokyo Game Show 99 in autumn. The magazine is launching several reader submission sections, including Kawaryu Classroom for poems, Dajare no Osama for puns, Help Me Rental Hero for reader problems to solve, a development love diary section, and an illustration corner called Anyone OK? They're also introducing a point system where readers can earn points for submissions and win prizes. This page is a special feature from Dreamcast Magazine, focusing on D2, the Dreamcast game known as D no Shokutaku 2 in Japan, ahead of the Tokyo Game Show 99. The page announces a quiz about D2 for readers to participate in at the Sega booth, with a special present for those who complete it. The game, an action RPG by Warp and set to be released on December 23rd, is priced at 6,800 yen and will be on 4 GDROM discs. The feature reveals the subscreen for the first time, showcasing it as a menu accessible outside of battles to manage inventory, check the map, access weapons, review words, hunting results, and save/load the game. The hunting aspect is detailed, where encounters with animals and hunting results are recorded, including photos. The inventory system is explained as storing items, accessible from the subscreen. A quiz section poses 10 questions about D2, covering various game aspects like Laura's hair color, the developer, hunting item names, Warp's representative, weapon skills, the subscreen itself, Laura's initial weapon, saving mechanics, subscreen results, and the game's creatures. Creatures such as moose, rabbit, caliber, and snowglass are shown in screenshots. Laura is also visible in a character portrait and in-game screenshot. The page also explains that selecting a weapon from the subscreen allows the player to read a description of it. The next page is all about the game D2. It looks like a preview showing different gameplay aspects there. There's a section on the world map which explains how to access it in the game and how it displays your current location. Another section details equipment, mentioning attack cases and grenade usage for wide-range damage. The save section mentions that saving is done within buildings and is unlimited. The status screen display is explained, showing character stats like HP, skill level, and experience. Lastly, a glossary section highlights terms like compact and shadow of the second ruin, and mentions Canada as a location in the game world. There are also question and answer sections covering gameplay elements, like displaying the map on the controller, weaponry, and locations within the game. One question specifically asks about a weapon that deals wide-range damage, and another about the country where Laura's plane crashes. The page also mentions monsters and snowmobiles.
This page focuses on a preview of the upcoming Dreamcast game D2, highlighting story elements and gameplay hints in the lead-up to its release. The preview mentions the game's release date as December 23rd, and discusses story elements like a crash landing in the Canadian mountains, with secrets hidden within. It also introduces a green devil monster, explaining that monsters are transformed humans, hinting at the game's horror themes. The page also includes a quiz for readers to participate in for a chance to win prizes like Laura figures and special money clips, redeemable at the Sega booth during the Tokyo Game Show on September 18th and 19th at the D2 Theater. Finally, there's a promotional message from Warp, inviting readers to the Tokyo Game Show, specifically to the D2 Theater Sega booth. They mention Kenji Ino will be present for a talk show and demo of D2, and that they will be giving away special pamphlets and videos to the first 10,000 visitors. This page is a reader submission corner called Guru Powers, featuring various segments and reader contributions. The top illustration shows cartoon characters enjoying drinks. The first section, Dream Plaza, includes reader submissions related to summer memories and gaming experiences, mentioning a reader called Kastakun. The next section, Uzume Sister and Brother with Cat, features the personalities of the Uzume siblings and their cat, Dreamchan, Kastakun, and Boo Boo. This section seems to be answering reader questions about love, music, and dreams. The Congratulations Rental Hero No. 1 section highlights the game Rent a Hero No. 1, featuring the character Yamada Teru, and discussing its popularity as a Brank RPG. The final section, Monthly Sakuya Ru, showcases a character named Sakuya Ru, depicted in a manga style with reader comments and questions about the character and their actions. This page is filled with reader interaction and community content around Dreamcast games and related topics. This page presents the Angels Cathedral, a section dedicated to showcasing user-submitted pixel art for the Dreamcast's visual memory. It encourages readers to participate, emphasizing that passion is more important than technical skill, and that even small pixel art pieces can be expressive. The submission guidelines mention a 48 by 32 pixel grid and recommend using BMP format for digital submissions. Several reader-submitted examples are featured. One from Aichi Prefecture is recognized as Linnea, from the game Evolution, the World of Sacred Device. Another from Hokkaido depicts Sonic the Hedgehog and is admired for its lively expression. A third submission, also featuring Sonic from Chiba Prefecture, is praised as an exemplary piece of pixel art. Finally, a stylized face from Tokyo is shown, possibly representing a character called Casco. The page also includes comments from the pixel artists and provides the mailing address for readers to send in their own creations to the Angels Cathedral section. This page is showcasing the Illust Garden fan art submissions, this time with the theme of winter sports. Fan art featured includes characters from various games such as Virtual on Oratorio Tangram, Puyo Puyo, Soul Calibur, SNK vs. Capcom, Dead or Alive 2, Tail Concerto, and Linnea of KM. Below this section is a comic strip area, featuring short comics. The text in this section discusses the popularity of semen-related content, and mentions anticipation for Shenmue-related topics in future submissions. One comic strip seems to be about Shenmue, while the other appears to be a humorous take on semen. This page showcases the Guru Powers Liberation Zone Declaration, a reader submission corner from Dreamcast Magazine. It's a fun section where reader-submitted jokes and illustrations are featured. Various reader contributions from different prefectures are showcased, with nicknames and drawings. Themes range from robots and desert adventures to cyborgs and jokes about Dream Magazine. The page also includes submission guidelines for readers wanting to contribute to the magazine, detailing acceptable formats, and the address for sending submissions to Dreamcast Magazine. A small section at the bottom right mentions Dreamcast Magazine and SoftBank Publishing. This page is an advert for the official guidebook for the Dreamcast game Frame Guide. This book is from the creators of the Armored Core Strategy Guides, and it's packed with information including all parts and squire data, unique combat techniques, stage guides based on maps and data, and lots of setting images to expand your understanding of the game. This full-color A5 guidebook has 144 pages and is on sale for 1,300 yen. Frame Guide was a Japan-only release for the Dreamcast. The idol group Metamo, featuring members Gojuke, Igarashi, and Kumakiri, are interviewed about their new CD Orange. The interview is a casual discussion about the album's lyrics, which are deemed relatable, even incorporating the word uzai, annoying. They reflect on their high school experiences,
with Kumakiri describing strict rules and limited freedom. The conversation then shifts to idle life, with Gojike expressing enjoyment and a desire for a national tour and a solo photo book. The photo book's title, Secret of 14 Years Old, leads to humorous commentary about their desire to remain youthful and childish. The interview is lighthearted, focusing on their music, personal lives, and the idol experience. This page is an interview titled Ending with the J-pop idol group Cheeky Girls, also known as Chekin Musume in Japan. The interview's theme is money and explores their aspirations, idols, and what they are told they cannot speak about as celebrities. The members interviewed are Gojikatsu Megumi, Kumakiri Asami, and Morinoko Yuri. They discuss their views on age, idols like Ryoko Hirosue and Noriko Sakai, admiration for Nakamori Akina, and their preferences in male idols like Tatsuya Fujiwara and Hiroshi Itsuki. They also touch upon topics such as whether they are dating, and the origins of their group name, Metamo. The group members express a desire to be like Nakamori Akina in terms of transformation and idol image. This page is a humorous manga strip titled Samashing Yoshimatsu Theater, with the header, Sega's games are the best in the world. It's a comical take on Sega's games, and potentially the Dreamcast. The strip features characters that look like parodies of game consoles and perhaps Sega's internal workings. There's a mention of a Dreamcast idolization plan, and characters marked with 32 appear to be involved, possibly referencing the transition from the Sega Saturn to the Dreamcast, and poking fun at marketing or internal discussions around making the Dreamcast appealing. The humor seems to be centered around exaggerating the enthusiasm for Sega and the Dreamcast. This page is a column titled Black Ore by Fumio Kurokawa, a burning publicist. In this column, Kurokawa reflects on his summer holiday and his thoughts on the games industry. He mentions taking a 9-day summer break, during which he spent time reading books, particularly business-related books. He mentions purchasing books like Sony's Aibo and Honda's humanoid robot before his break. He also mentions a paperback called Honda's Art of War. Kurokawa discusses Honda's business philosophy, highlighting the importance of understanding the consumer's viewpoint in product development. He mentions Honda executives like Soichiro Honda and Takeo Fujisawa, as well as the current Sega president, Mr. Irio, who previously worked at Honda. He notes the upcoming Tokyo Game Show and the importance of game developers considering what players truly want. Kurokawa emphasizes that successful game development requires not just technical skills, but also strong business management and a focus on the consumer, similar to Honda's approach. He concludes by inviting readers to send their opinions and feedback to the Dreamcast Magazine editorial department. This page is dedicated to Anime Check It and features the TV animation Geikoku Jusei Director's Cut Volume 1, set for release on September 24th. This anime is based on the popular game Geikoku Jusei, originally on Sega Saturn, now adapted into a 13-episode TV series, with this director's cut including unaired scenes. The page introduces several main characters, with profiles including Minazato Ai, the main heroine, described as having a crush on Yamaguchi Tsuyoshi, but struggling to express her feelings. Other characters include Ijima Misuzu, Kamiyama Miko, Shindao Raiko, and Yuki Ryuko. The story section previews episode plots, like the first episode where AI is helped by Yamaguchi after being stuck in a tree. The second episode involves a handkerchief incident leading to a date. There are also topics about Animax launching a homepage on August 31st, providing program information and event details. Finally, there's a section about Asobu 2 Final Audition, an audition event with a deadline on October 8th. Upcoming anime releases include Section Chief Prince Code Point 1, Adult Anime, Betterman Volume 2, Sci-Fi, Duel Parallel Trouble Adventures Vision 004, Melty Lancer The Animation Code, 003, Action Romantic Comedy, Super Goddess Dangeizer 3, OVA Volume 1, Action, and Cardcaptor Sakura Volume 1. Also releasing are Long Boots Cat Pippi, rental only, Dream Crayon Kingdom Volume 17, final volume, and Pia Carrot EU Koso. Complete edition. Advertisements promote 2 anime series. Puppet Straw Paper Acrobatics Near Zashiki, starting October 19th on WOWOW, and Fang of the Sun Dugram, currently airing on Animax. Puppet Straw Paper Acrobatics Near Zashiki is based on a manga about a detective solving strange incidents with puppet partners. Fang of the Sun Dugram is a classic robot anime about a young man fighting for independence on a colony planet. This page from Dreamcast Magazine is titled Cinema Guide and features reviews of movies that are currently showing. It highlights 4 movies: Notting Hill's Lover, Psycho, Austin Powers, Deluxe, and The Matrix. The Notting Hill's Lover section discusses how it broke box office records and mentions Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts, detailing a press conference where Grant spoke about being nervous around Roberts. The Psycho section talks about the suspense and horror of the movie and mentions Alfred Hitchcock's original film from the 1960s being remade, emphasizing the shocking story and ending. The Austin Powers Deluxe section highlights its popularity in Japan as a major character phenomenon, describing it as a funny spy comedy. Finally, the Matrix review focuses on its action, 21st century-style action movie starring Keanu Reeves and the impressive kung fu scenes directed by Yuen Woo-ping, emphasizing the realistic virtual world and impactful action. There is also a small comic strip section titled Kaneko Kyoko's Brain Miso Diary, but it's not detailed further in the image. This page offers book recommendations inspired by the Dreamcast game, Seaman. It features reviews of Jean-Paul Gauze's diary, delving into the Seaman character Gauze, and Afterman, a zoology of the future, exploring hypothetical future creatures. Rhino Gradentia, featuring unusual creatures from a vanished island, also gets a mention. Additionally, a tropical fish and aquatic plant color illustrated book is included as a bonus for those interested in real-life fish keeping. And Editor's Choice recommends Colorful, a fantastical story about a soul given a second chance at life. The page also includes a game book ranking from 1999 at a specific bookstore, listing top game books like SD Gundam G, Generation Zero Technical Data, and JIKU Powerful Pro Yakyu Perfect Guide. This page features an article titled, I Can Do It! Macintosh! Which discusses the use of Macintosh computers in music production, especially in relation to internet music distribution. The article includes a profile of a game music composer from Nagano Prefecture, who mentions working on music for the Grandia, Luna, and Langrisser series. The discussion touches upon software like Digital Performer and hardware, including SBX80 and NECPC 9801 in music creation. There is an information section providing contact details for music purchases and an unrelated Today's Secret Snap section showing children at a barbecue. This page is an advertisement for the Giant Graham All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan Strategy Guide. It highlights features such as a complete walkthrough, detailed game system explanations for beginners, a wrestler roster of 15 with move lists and combos, a pro wrestling technique encyclopedia, the Tiger's Den training mode, and a special interview with Triple Crown champion Mitsuharu Misawa. The guide also includes secret technique data and sealed bonus content. This page is a questionnaire application form. It provides instructions on how to fill out the survey postcard with examples of good and bad answer entries. The form collects personal details such as gender, age, school or occupation, and preferred magazines. It then asks for opinions on the current magazine's cover and various questions about Dreamcast ownership and preferences, including existing hardware, desired hardware, and Dreamcast software interests from a provided list. Lists of hardware and Dreamcast software titles are included as reference for the survey questions. The next page is an advertisement for strategy guides for WonderSwan games. It showcases a variety of perfect guides for different games, primarily action and strategy titles. The guides advertised are for Super Robot Wars Compact Perfect Guide, Chaos Gear Perfect Guide, Last Stand Perfect Guide, Violet's Blade Perfect Guide. This guide is specifically highlighted, promising to cover all Violet's, items, and stances in detail. It also mentions complete strategy explanations, maps, event strategies, and even how to unleash hidden Varuits. Emotional Jam Perfect Guide. Now, Neon Genesis Evangelion Raising Project Perfect Guide. This guide focuses on raising simulation elements of the game, promising detailed explanations of how to raise the Shito pilots, complete event scene coverage, item data, and card game tactics. It states that everything can be understood with this one book. SD Gundam Emotional Jam Perfect Guide. New Century Evangelion Raising Project Perfect Guide. Mobile Suit Gundam MSVS Perfect Guide. The advertisement boasts that these guides are currently available and provide comprehensive support for mastering these WonderSwan games. It emphasizes that each guide is a perfect guide, filled with essential information for players. This page highlights the Game Center aspect of the Dreamcast title, Shenmue, focusing on the inclusion of classic Sega arcade games within it. It mentions that in Shenmue, players can experience fully recreated versions of Hang-On and Space Harrier at the in-game U-Arcade Game Center located in Dobuita, Yokosuka. Hang-On, originally released in July 1985 as a body bike simulation game, is showcased with screenshots of the arcade cabinet and gameplay. It emphasizes the innovative, full-body sensation of the arcade experience, with a large motorbike cabinet allowing players to lean and steer. Space Harrier, originally released in December 1985 as a body 3D shooting game, is also featured with arcade cabinet and gameplay screenshots. It highlights the immersive experience of the moving seat cabinet and the exhilarating speed and action of the game. The page then lists details for Shenmue Chapter 1, Yokosuka, with a release date of October 28th and a price of 6,800 yen, noting it comes on 3 CDs, with an initial limited edition containing 4 CDs. It also mentions Shenmue Chapter 2, tentative title, as being in development, with the release date and price yet to be determined. Finally, there is a checkpoint section discussing the enemy character Yuria from Space Harrier, explaining that it is a cat-like creature named after Yu Suzuki, the creator of the game. The article explores the integration of classic Sega arcade games within Yu Suzuki's Shenmue, specifically focusing on the Game Center U. Players can experience fully playable versions of titles like Hang-On and Space Harrier, which are faithful recreations of Suzuki's earlier work. The piece anticipates additional potential inclusions, listing several titles with release dates and console port details: Outrun, Afterburner 2, Power Drift, GLOC, Air Battle, R360, Virtua Racing, Virtua Fighter 2, and Virtua Fighter 2.1. The article concludes by speculating about the possibility of these games being collected on Dreamcast, the potential for online rankings, and the high fan demand for more classic arcade ports, particularly highlighting Yu Suzuki's interest in console releases as a positive development. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Guru Guru Onsen, a Sega Tsunage or network-compatible game, scheduled for release on September 23rd. The headline says, "You can play anytime you want. Welcome to the Dream Hot Springs." It seems to be a virtual hot springs experience where players can gather and interact online. The page mentions that server operation is key to creating the right atmosphere for players. There are interviews with 2 developers, Takashi Uryu, the Guru Guru Onsen producer from Sega R&D, and Yukio Nishihara from Sega's Consumer Business Division, responsible for network game development. Uryu talks about enjoying user interaction and potentially playing against users directly. Nishihara discusses the server operations side, emphasizing the need to keep the server running smoothly for users to enjoy the game comfortably. He mentions server maintenance is done between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. JST, when fewer people are expected to be online, to minimize disruption. The section discusses dealing with problematic users in a human way, but clarifies that during maintenance, problem users are not specifically targeted. The game is designed to be open 23 hours a day, with keyboard, vibration pack, and online communication support for 14 players. This page details the online service for the game Guru Guru Onsen, stating that it is a nationwide service available for a flat monthly fee. It highlights the affordability and ease of access compared to previous Dreamcast online games, emphasizing that players connect via the internet, not phone lines directly, meaning costs are fixed. The Onsen servers are explained with a diagram showing World 1, World 2, and World 3 servers, each capable of hosting 10,000 simultaneous players. The page describes the game as a communication world, where up to 5 people can play together and chat freely. Screenshots show in-game communication and gameplay that appears to be card-based or board game style. There's a section discussing moderation and user conduct, explaining that warnings and emails will be sent to users who cause trouble, and in severe cases, accounts may be suspended. There is a Q&A section discussing the 12-character limit for chat messages in the game, explaining it is a necessary limitation for server load and data management, but adequate for enjoyable communication between friends. The developers encourage players to use the chat within these constraints and enjoy communicating with others in the game. This page is all about the Dreamcast's online chat feature, described as the biggest attraction for users to socialize with each other, not just play games. It highlights how chatting online with other players enhances the gaming experience, emphasizing its a key appeal beyond just competitive play. The page details how you can communicate using a keyboard to send messages up to 12 characters long. There are also preset phrases for quicker communication. The chat interface is shown with speech bubbles above characters' heads. They have different chat rooms, including a mahjong room and a waiting room, to meet up with other players. The idea of exchanging name cards is introduced as a way to make friends and connect with other users, with the option to register email addresses on these cards for later communication. There's a section discussing mini-games during network connection that were planned to be versus games. A game called Tarai Panic, likely a play on Tray Panic, and not officially released as a standalone game, using a system like Power Golf, presumably referring to a golf game mechanic, was mentioned but ultimately scrapped from the final version. An interview with a developer named Uryu discusses the importance of user interaction and how the development team values communication with players. They aim to create a welcoming online space, like a hot spring, where users can easily connect and enjoy themselves. They mention daily maintenance, scheduled from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. This page is about the online Dreamcast game, Guru Guru Onsen. It announces a large-scale tournament where up to 10,000 players can participate, competing for rankings based on their win rate during the event. Participation is limited to one player per Dreamcast console. Players can check their rankings on the in-game tournament leaderboard. It warns against malicious resets, which will result in point deductions, but assures players that disconnecting and quickly reconnecting will not be penalized. The tournament events are tiered, with G1 being the highest grade, and hints at special rewards for these top-tier events. It also announces the official Dorimaga Hot Springs Association, endorsed by the Sega Guru Guru Onsen team, encouraging players to support the game and join. The association plans include hosting Dorimaga Cup game tournaments, social events, creating official chat emoticons, and soliciting illustrations and player experiences. Finally, it provides details on how to join the Dorimaga Hot Springs Association. This page is an instructional guide on how to learn the rules of various games within Guru Guru Onsen by practicing in single-player mode before venturing online. The guide is broken down into 3 steps. Step 1 advises players to create their personalized character, referred to as style, by combining face parts to create a unique avatar. This character creation is part of Guru Guru Onsen, and styles can be changed at any time. More character parts become available as you play. Step 2 emphasizes checking the basic rules within Guru Guru Onsen. Each game within the collection, even familiar ones like Seven Narabe, Sevens, Mahjong, and Shogi, Japanese chess, has unique rules within the onsen context, so confirming them beforehand is essential. Step 3 recommends practicing in single-player mode to learn the rules against CPU opponents before playing online in net onsen. It warns not to underestimate the CPU, suggesting they can be quite challenging in good practice. It also mentions that there are 7 games available in total, with 2 being single-player only, and 5 available for network play. Napoleon is highlighted as allowing up to 5 players in network matches. The page showcases screenshots from Guru Guru Onsen, including character customization screens and gameplay of card games and board games, emphasizing the importance of learning the rules through single-player practice before online play. The Dreamcast's VMU allows for engaging multiplayer experiences at home, even without internet. Using multiple controllers and a single console, players can enjoy games like Mahjong and various card games with hidden information displayed on the VMU screen. In Mahjong, the VMU privately shows a player's hand and discards. For card games like Trump, the VMU helps with hand visibility. The page also introduces Kotori fortune-telling, a fortune-telling feature that offers horoscopes, compatibility readings, and relationship insights. Several card games are listed, including Daifugu, a game of becoming rich, Napoleon, a bidding and trick-taking game, U-Union, a card-collecting game with shared discards, and Freecell, a solitaire game. Dreamcast Magazine previews Sakatsuku, a J-League soccer club simulation game. The article focuses on the game's comprehensive J2 League simulation, featuring a full 44-match season where players manage both the coaching and club representative roles. Success hinges on managerial skill within the demanding schedule. Showcased at Tokyo Game Show '99,
The game was slated for a September 30th release at 6,800 yen. It offers keyboard and VGA box compatibility. Screenshots reveal game interfaces, schedules, and gameplay. Interviews with developers Osaki Shu and Sasaki Koji highlight the game's depth, the challenging season, and the importance of tactical management and player condition to succeed within the busy schedule, emphasizing the need for careful long-term planning. The next page focuses on the game J-League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru, showcasing its in-depth simulation of J-League management. It highlights various tournaments available beyond just the league matches. One feature is the J-Cup, a tournament where all 28 J1 and J2 teams compete. This uses a home and away format over 2 matches, with aggregate scores determining the winner. The final is held in October. Another tournament is the World Sports Festival, an international competition for U23 players, similar to the Olympics. Qualifying for this tournament occurs every 4 years, and representing Japan is a major goal. The New Year Cup is also featured, a single elimination tournament at the end of the season, including both J1 and J2 teams. This is presented as a way to test your club's strength after a year of development and prepare for the next season. The bottom section appears to be an interview where they discuss the differences between managing a J1 and J2 team in the game. They mention that J1 teams have higher expectations, bigger budgets, and attract more fans and sponsors compared to J2 teams, influencing the gameplay experience significantly. They also discuss the difficulty of remaining competitive in J1 League. The next page focuses on the enhanced training mode in a football management simulation game for Dreamcast, emphasizing how the training menu has become more detailed and effective. The page highlights 10 different training options: system training for positional understanding, tactics training, position-specific training, strength training, stamina training, instantaneous power training, set play training, free practice, minigames, and rest. It emphasizes the importance of meetings with players to understand their individual strengths and weaknesses, to tailor training effectively. A Q&A section features insights from someone called Ohashi, who discusses how the detailed training menu allows for nuanced player development and team building, suggesting that focusing on team training initially is key, and that the Dreamcast version offers greater depth compared to previous iterations, including a larger world map with more countries and clubs to manage. This page introduces training and management aspects of J-League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru, a soccer club simulation game. It details various training methods like individual lessons focused on specific player skills and play styles, basic physical conditioning, and team cooperation drills. Playstyle-specific training items are outlined for different positions, such as post player, game maker, striker, and goalkeeper, each with tailored training focuses. The page also covers special adjustments to player condition, temporary rests, and delegating training menu creation to coaches. The selector section touches on player selection and negotiation, mentioning player stress levels within the game. The voice of management section discusses the game's stress factors and highlights the depth of player editing, particularly focusing on player expressions and reactions in different situations, including both positive and negative reactions to in-game events, adding to the game's enjoyment. This page focuses on the management aspects of a soccer club simulation game, very likely J-League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru 2 on the Dreamcast. It emphasizes that managing facilities like the clubhouse and stadium is crucial and not something to be neglected. The page details how leveling up the clubhouse and stadium increases available space and facilities, improving the club's overall condition, though it comes at a cost. It also explains the significance of ground conditions, stating that the pitch quality directly affects player training. Poor ground conditions can decrease training effectiveness and increase injury risk, with different grass lengths having varying impacts on fatigue, injury probability, training results, ground wear, and maintenance costs. The article highlights that the players' and club's condition are directly reflected in matches, impacting performance. An interview section addresses spectator numbers and crowd reactions, explaining that these elements are dynamic and change based on the club's status and match events. The interviewer, Ohashi, discusses how the game graphically and audibly reflects the crowd's enthusiasm, depending on the club's performance and popularity. They confirm that supporter messages displayed during matches also change based on the club's overall condition. This page showcases the Dreamcast version of J-League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru, a game where you build your own J-League soccer club. It details the various facilities you can build both within your clubhouse and stadium,
categorized and numbered for easy reference. For the clubhouse, facilities include training grounds, entertainment and relaxation rooms, a buffet for player nutrition, lounges, pools, medical rooms, saunas, data analysis rooms, speed and power gyms, tactics rooms, and massage rooms, all designed to improve player performance and well-being. Stadium facilities are geared towards fans and revenue, featuring ice cream and ramen shops, newsrooms, parking lots, restaurants, merchandise stores, amusement facilities, rest areas, and coffee and fast food shops. The page also includes an interview section where developers discuss the enduring appeal of the Sakatsuku series, emphasizing how rival clubs evolve over time, ensuring long-term replayability even after 3,040 hours of gameplay. They highlight the detailed and numerous animations of the secretary character, boasting over 80 types, promising a rich and engaging experience for players. Revive, Susei, a trap adventure game for Dreamcast, is launching October 28th for 6,800 yen, featuring bonus content and showcased at the Tokyo Game Show. This special report highlights a key gameplay scenario, opening a handleless locker.
Players must use items found in the environment, brute force being ineffective. The gameplay revolves around item interaction. Clicking objects yields clues and potential tools. The report illustrates the process, showing a garage with cleaning supplies and tools as possible sources of solutions. Success involves finding the right item to open the locker, revealing an item within. Failure results in the locker remaining shut, emphasizing the need for strategic item use and exploration of other areas. The game encourages investigation and item experimentation. This page details the Trap Adventure series game system, showcasing how solving traps influences the story and character emotions in the game Revive. It describes a scenario where the player encounters a closed shutter trap and must choose between items A, B, or C to solve it, leading to outcomes like great success, success, or failure. The page emphasizes that these choices affect the player's relationship with the female characters, Misumi and Yuzuki, and their emotional responses. The player can choose to act with either Misumi or Yuzuki when dealing with the trap, and the decisions made will impact the story's direction and character relationships. This page focuses on how the flow of time affects the fate of the protagonists in a Dreamcast game. It highlights time-limited events, specifically Trap 3. Fire spreads in the garage. This event requires players to quickly find and use items to extinguish a fire in a garage before time runs out. The page shows screenshots of the garage environment, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. It details two outcomes: failure, resulting in game over, and successfully extinguishing the fire, leading to the clock reverting to its original time. The page also introduces the Ocean Development Promotion Industry Infiltration arc, where the protagonists infiltrate a research facility. Locations like the garage, elevator, stairs, material storage, and goods storage are mentioned. Rescuing Manawa, who is trapped behind a shutter halfway down the stairs, is also described as a key objective in this section of the game. The game is focused on using items and solving puzzles under time pressure within a research facility setting. Based on the details, this game appears to be Resident Evil Code Veronica. This page previews the game Revive, introducing the character Misato Sasahara. The game's opening scene takes place in a garage, where the protagonist encounters Misato when she is trapped by a shutter door. The text describes Misato as a researcher at a research facility, and the meeting with her is the start of a new encounter for the player. The page shows screenshots with dialogue boxes, illustrating scenes where Misato is initially stuck, then rescued, and later, in an office-like environment, discussing something with the protagonist. The page highlights in-game locations, such as the lobby, restroom, meeting room, and office. It describes each location briefly, mentioning details like the lobby having ship models and research materials, the restroom being clean but with a broken sign from a year ago, the meeting room containing a refrigerator, and the office having typical office supplies. Finally, the page advertises a Revive fan and voice actress, Yonakura-san, fan gathering event. The event was held on August 29th at Akihabara Messe Sano, featuring goods sales, autograph sessions, and a chance to meet Yonakura-san. It mentions the CD drama Volume 1 and posters as available goods. The event is described as having a long line of fans in Akihabara. This page is a character profile page for the game Zombie Revenge. It introduces Zed, a character with a mysterious past and origins tied to a project and the Bright Ring family. Zed is described as having a heart taken over by a god of destruction,
Fueled by discontent and questions of self-worth, the page reveals that Zed is a biologically engineered human, created from Dr. Curien's son's cells, explaining his odd eyes and connecting him to the House of the Dead series. The designer's comment mentions that they wanted to introduce a male beauty absent in games at the time, and that Zed's design, including his odd eyes, is reminiscent of his father. The page also mentions that Zed uses bioweapons, and that his destructive nature is directed towards humanity and Stick Breitbart. It notes the game's release date is October 28th. It is priced at 5,800 yen and supports 2 players, arcade sticks, rumble packs, and VGA output. This page focuses on the Dreamcast game Zombie Revenge. It introduces the character Yoko, who is described as a female survivor who met the protagonist for the first time. Yoko is carrying a mysterious floppy disk, entrusted to her by a one-eyed, golden-eyed man. The page highlights Zed's strange behavior in the game, mentioning messages he sends to the player characters, sticks, and his cryptic pronouncements. It suggests Zed might be a source of information, but his actions are unpredictable. The page also discusses the destruction god, Black Magician, a powerful, non-human enemy who appears as a time-over enemy. Black Magician is described as having an unknown identity, except for being a god of destruction with a clown-like face. The page also mentions a mysterious light that appears at the end of stages. This page showcases a manga chapter related to the game Evolution, the World of Sacred Device, specifically Chapter 20 created by Uekiya. It acts as a promotional comic strip, introducing characters and hinting at the game's narrative. We see character introductions including Mag Launcher, a treasure hunter, and Linear Cannon, a girl from a ruined family who can control flowers and plants. The comic panels depict a story sequence involving Mag and Linear seemingly on a mission, discussing chain beasts, going to a hospital, and encountering various scenarios. The page also advertises both Evolution, the World of Sacred Device, and its sequel Evolution 2, Far Off Promise, highlighting them as adventure RPGs available on Dreamcast from Sega/ESP Sting. This page is a Dreamcast Hot Information Contents page. It lists upcoming game information starting with Super Runabout, which was a working title for Crazy Taxi, Langrisser Millennium, Mercurius Pretty End of the Century, Climax Landers, Sentimental Graffiti 2, Pop Fawn Music 2, and Speed Devil. The bottom half of the page continues with more games such as Pro Yakyu, Team Otsukuru, also known as Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Tukon Retsuden 4, Cool Borders BURRRRN, Soul Calibur, and Kido Senkin Nadesico, The Mission. Featured on the page are screenshots of Xianghua and Sophidia from Soul Calibur. The page also advertises a Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide. This page showcases a preview for the driving action game Super Runabout, scheduled for release this winter. It highlights that this is a power-up version from the PlayStation release and is now coming to Dreamcast. The developer's comment emphasizes the realistic recreation of cityscapes and car behavior, specifically mentioning San Francisco as the setting. The gameplay is described as focusing on dramatic action and realistic vehicle physics, appealing to fans of car games who enjoyed the previous installment. Screenshots depict car crashes and cartoon-style characters in a city environment. The game is described as a drive action title that emphasizes impactful crashes and exaggerated but realistic machine movement. This page showcases the Dreamcast game Runabout, also known as Gekisu Ranto Runabout in Japan, highlighting its San Francisco setting. The article emphasizes the game's open city environment, where players can freely drive around, simulating famous landmarks like Chinatown and the Golden Gate Bridge, taking full advantage of the Dreamcast's graphical power to recreate the city with high fidelity. The preview mentions the thrill of driving through the city, jumping from high places, and crashing into billboards, focusing on the game's crazy and rule-breaking action gameplay. It mentions that this title is coming to Dreamcast 2 years after the PlayStation version. The page also points out the variety of vehicles available, boasting around 30 types, including scooters, sports cars, and small trucks, enhancing the driving experience and offering diverse gameplay options. The screenshots depict various vehicles in San Francisco environments, showcasing the game's graphics and car models like the PUM, VES, 246 GT, and ACLUSS. This page is focused on the game Runabout, also known as Super Runabout internationally. Scenario A is titled Parent and Child Arc, and is about a father and daughter. The main character is Oyaji, a 36-year-old owner of an automotive repair factory called SFC Motors, and a former F1 driver who is now a courier. His daughter is Charlie, a 14-year-old middle school student. There's also Osan, age unknown, described as an old friend and mechanic. The page details the mission structure, as consisting of multiple scenarios set in San Francisco. The interview is with Naito, the overall director of Runabout, who explains the game's development for Dreamcast. He mentions wanting to create a car action game inspired by movies, where players enjoy driving freely and choosing their own routes. He emphasizes the game's concept of Runabout as driving around freely, and mentions the diverse range of vehicles available, from scooters and light trucks to F1 and GT cars, but deliberately focuses on more accessible cars rather than purely race cars. He also touches upon the fun of sharing shortest route information with friends in the game. This page previews the Dreamcast game Highway Patrol, outlining 2 scenarios and introducing key characters. Scenario B is a sequel to Scenario A, focusing on the pursuit of reckless drivers. The game features a zapping system where players experience the story from both sides, as the police and the pursued. Character profiles detail the sheriff, the 50-year-old boss who enjoys putt-putt golf, Bando, a 26-year-old Belgian ex-karate champion with a strong sense of justice,
Wildman, a mysterious 45-year-old FBI investigator disguised as a terrorist, and Rudman, Bando's 24-year-old partner and former basketball hopeful. The interview section reveals the game includes buses and emphasizes destruction and car chases. The developers mention inspiration from movies like The Rock and Mad Max, and connect the game to the Runabout series, specifically referencing Runabout 2 and the upcoming Super Runabout on PlayStation 2, suggesting a similar gameplay style and enjoyment factor to those titles. The game aims to go beyond simple car action, incorporating dramatic elements. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Langrisser Millennium, a simulation RPG, which received an 80% performance score in this magazine. The game is scheduled for release in early November, with the price yet to be determined. An event for the game is planned for the 19th at the game show, featuring a voice actor talk show and the singer of the ending theme. The page introduces 2 characters, Lumati Makiyov, a religious leader and commander, and Masariba, a princess and former gladiator from a small kingdom. The story setup involves a girl escaping a gladiator life with a stolen sword that proves her royal lineage, and a year later, her newly formed small kingdom is threatened by war. The game is being showcased at the Tokyo Game Show. The next page introduces 2 games. The first section, titled The Beginning Masariba, highlights a game about a female warrior named Masariba who escapes from an arena. The story follows her life after escaping the arena, where she was a prized fighter, and how she now aims to conquer the continent because she dislikes being hungry. Screenshots show gameplay with battles against bandits and interactions with another character named Katsue, who seems to be a leader of bandits and is described as having noble birth. Masariba is depicted as aiming to become the ruler of the world. The second section, titled Lumati Maae, previews a game featuring Lumati Maae, the leader of the Masura Kingdom's monk soldier order. The game revolves around Lumati and her quest to subjugate heretics with a divine sword. Screenshots display tactical battle gameplay and character names like Lumati, Batsuek, Shakare, Betify, and Roche. The narrative focuses on Lumati starting a holy war across the land, suggesting a strategy, RPG, or tactical RPG style game. This page details the gameplay progression for a strategy game, likely on the Dreamcast, focusing on its core mechanics. The game is structured around 2 main phases, the strategy phase and the battle phase. In the strategy phase, you manage your army by forming troops, recruiting and dismissing officers, purchasing and equipping items in shops, and preparing for battle. Troops are deployed from your territories to expand your influence and engage in combat. The battle phase is initiated when your troops encounter enemy forces. Here, you'll manage unit formations and movements on the battlefield, utilizing attacks and special skills known as Shinken Waza, or Godsword techniques. The objective is to defeat enemy units. After battles, there is a post-battle sequence, where experience and money are awarded, and decisions are made about captured enemy officers. The overall game flow involves alternating between these strategy and battle phases, with the goal of expanding your territory and progressing through the game's story. The next page introduces powerful rival characters and strong warriors from the game Seventh Cross Evolution. It details 5 characters,
The noble Bazelart Clairol who serves Verdun and is obsessed with beauty and order. The pirate Ben-Hur who is a rough-and-tumble character but with a kind heart who takes in war orphans. The self-proclaimed noblewoman Katusha Cash who rules the Fenra continent with her strength. Garçon del Doct, the king of the vast Doct kingdom who rose from soldier to king and aims for continental domination. And Rosa Monsmeg, the leader of the Monsmeg mercenary group from Devol who is skilled in strategy and uses medicines and poisons. The page also explains a game mechanic called Divine Sword Warrior and Divine Sword Soldier unit types, where sword warriors are commanders, and sword soldiers can become sword warriors at level 10, and shows a game screenshot with battle stats and character information. This page previews Mercurius Pretty, a Dreamcast fairy training simulation game by NEC Interchannel, which is 80% complete and slated for a December release. It's described as a fantasy education simulation game where you raise a homunculus. The game is set to appear at the Tokyo Game Show. The prologue section hints at a sudden event causing confusion and mentions a homunculus, an artificial life form born from seeds dropped to Earth by gods. The game focuses on raising this homunculus in a fantastical, mysterious world and emphasizes the attention to detail in backgrounds and characters. It mentions the protagonist and homunculus using Virtua Crystal, and the text highlights that the homunculus at the Tokyo Game Show will be 160 centimeters tall. This page is dedicated to the Dreamcast game Pretty Century, an alchemical spirit adventure set in 16th century Germany. The page highlights the game's premise, where you live with homunculi. It describes the protagonist's laboratory, a small house where they live with homunculi, and where a character named Catharia, who appears to be a later generation, often visits. Another section introduces the Alchemy Cafe, depicted as a gathering place for alchemists, diviners, and magicians, suggesting a mysterious and secretive social hub where unusual individuals meet and information is exchanged. The page features screenshots of the game's environments, including a European city street and interior locations like the protagonist's laboratory and the Alchemy Cafe itself, along with character art showcasing the game's cast. This page is about raising a homunculus in a game where you play as a master alchemist. The page details the 5 basic commands available to train your homunculus to increase its abilities. These commands are: study to improve knowledge and mental stats by reading books, spiritual invocation using spirits of earth, water, fire, and wind to enhance abilities, dance to improve physical strength and reduce fatigue, free time for rest and minigames, and Kunst or creation, where the homunculus uses alchemy to create materials for money. There is also a section on playing minigames with your homunculus, which includes a simple guessing game. The game, likely titled something related to Paracelsus's Will, seems to be a simulation-style game focusing on raising a homunculus. This page details the homunculus raising aspect of the Dreamcast game Elemental Gimmick Gear. It explains that homunculus growth takes place over a 48-day period in game time, during which they evolve through stages. The page highlights how interaction with the homunculus, like talking to them and responding to their actions with yes, no, good, or bad, influences their development. It also mentions the Virtua Crystal as a key element for exploration and uncovering the world's truth. Furthermore, the page touches upon stress relief for the homunculus and the atelier, or workshop area, suggesting elements of care and resource management within the game. It also points out the rich emotional expressions of the homunculus. This page discusses character development in a Dreamcast game where you raise a homunculus. The page explains that your nurturing style influences the homunculus's personality, resulting in 3 types: wild, fancy, and intelligent, each with distinct characteristics. It also introduces elemental attributes present from birth: fire, water, wind, and earth. These attributes affect the homunculus's personality, traits, and learning abilities. The page describes the characteristics of each elemental attribute, such as fire types being emotional and easily motivated, water types being calm but prone to sadness, wind types being intelligent but emotionally unstable, and earth types being logical and resistant to stress. The Dreamcast game features a cast of characters interacting with the protagonist. Princess Leonora, an alchemy enthusiast, seeks the protagonist's tutelage. The living body alchemist, a student researching resurrection, faces disapproval for her unconventional theories. Katya, a university senior, aims to be a party patron and seems to cause trouble. Maid Magda is a clumsy, endearing character who aspires to be a maid. Finally, Ryuji, a court official, initially appears helpful but may have ulterior motives, frequenting the protagonist's lab and the Alchemy Cafe. The voice actress, Hiromi Toki, comments on her character, initially named Demon Woman, who was designed to be her ideal type but was directed to portray a masculine and vulgar persona. This page delves into the world of Elemental Gimmick Gear, or EG as it was known internationally, showcasing the concept of Varcha crystal and the homunculi that inhabit it. The page explains that the Varcha crystal contains another world, and alchemists and homunculi like Paracelsus and Aleatia are exploring it. The goal is to understand the truth of the world, and homunculi can acquire a soul to survive. 5 distinct worlds within Varcha crystal are highlighted: a forest, an underground area, a wilderness, a mountainous area, and the edge of the world, each depicted with small images. The page then previews story elements within the game, featuring Sleeping Girl, describing a girl sleeping in a quiet field, and a dream demon succubus, who disappears when a homunculus notices it. The text hints at what the girl will say when she awakens. Lost homunculus, detailing homunculi like Liver and Frail, who are trapped in the Varcha crystal world for different reasons, highlighting their loneliness and aims. Talking Mandragora, introducing a mandragora in the forest entrance who observes intruders and speaks to them. It is described as a talkative character who will share various things. Screenshots accompany each of these sections, illustrating the characters and environments within Elemental Gimmick Gear. This page introduces a new Dreamcast game, set in a crystal world where you seek the truth. The game seems to feature various locations like a petrified wilderness with basilisks, an underground area, a mountain region, and the world's end. Characters include a homunculus, fairies serving God, a winged warrior facing unavoidable fate, and a masked angel. The page also highlights Aletheia, described as a refined and intelligent homunculus encountered in the Varcha crystal, who seems to ponder the world and communicates in monologues. There's also a comment from voice actress Aya Hisakawa, who describes her character as deeply involved in the story, with a neutral demeanor and internal emotional depth, noting the technical direction for her performance. This page introduces the Dreamcast RPG Climax Landers, known internationally as Time Stalkers. The page highlights the game's focus on dungeon exploration and introduces the main character, Sword, noting he is the only playable character initially. It emphasizes Sword's balanced fighting style, combining swordsmanship and offensive magic. Screenshots illustrate gameplay and dialogue scenes, depicting the game's RPG elements, where players will help others as they progress through the story. The game is a Sega RPG, scheduled for release on September 15th for 5,800 yen, and is compatible with the Visual Memory, Rumble Pack, and VGA box. This page is about party formation strategies in the game Climax Landers, released internationally as Time Stalkers. It emphasizes that proper party composition is key to success in battles against monsters. The page details the importance of balancing your party by considering the abilities your main character lacks, suggesting that monsters can fill these gaps. For example, if your main character, Sword, cannot use healing magic, it is recommended to include a healer-type monster in the party. It introduces 4 monster types: attack type, defense type, magic attack type, and recovery magic type, healer. Attack type monsters, like armor, are strong offensive units, essential for damage dealing. Defense type monsters, like Ruga, are durable and can withstand enemy attacks, placed at the front of the formation. Magic attack type monsters, like Sorcerer, are effective against enemies resistant to physical attacks. Recovery magic type monsters, like Healer, provide healing support, crucial for maintaining party health. The page stresses the importance of formation settings in battles, noting that some monsters cannot attack from the rear. Placing monsters in appropriate positions, like attack and defense types in the front and magic types in the rear, is crucial for effective combat. It also mentions the strategy of targeting lone enemy parties to maximize experience gains. Battling multiple enemy parties at once can lead to enemies attacking from the sides and rear, making it less efficient for leveling up. The manga panels seem to be humorous illustrations related to the game's mechanics and monster interactions. This page is focused on dungeon exploration strategies in role-playing games. It highlights understanding dungeon characteristics to effectively hunt for treasure. The page explains that even within the same dungeon, the types of monsters and item drop rates change based on the player's goal when entering. It outlines 3 dungeon entry patterns: scenario, random, and quest, each with unique item and monster characteristics. The guide advises players to adapt their weapons to the monsters encountered in the dungeon, considering weapon attributes like piercing or striking power, especially against enemies with high defense, or HP. It also points out that each weapon skill has distinct features, affecting VIT consumption, damage output, and attack speed, suggesting strategic use based on party composition and enemy types. Screenshots show in-game menus displaying items, skills, and combat scenarios, illustrating the points discussed. The next page is a dungeon guide, detailing 2 dungeons, Fire Mountain Cave and King's Tomb. The Fire Mountain Cave is a 6-floor dungeon with abundant food and fire element monsters, recommended for aggressive play and leveling up characters, even with weak enemies. It mentions different entry types, scenario, random, and quest, and lists monster encounters for each floor for these entry types, including monsters like Naga, Rora, Armo, Sorcerer, Kryven, and Boltarn. King's Tomb is a deeper 9-floor dungeon with normal food resources and thunder element enemies. Magic attacks are less effective here, and physical attacks are recommended, especially in the tougher mid to late stages. It highlights the Dark Knight type bosses, including variations like Flare Knight and Ice Snow Knight, noting that Flare Knights are vulnerable to ice magic. The page also points out Madam as a monster to be cautious of due to its fast attacks and high damage. Similar to the previous dungeon, it presents floor data with monster lists for scenario, random, and quest entries, featuring monsters such as Bargler, Serpent, Mimanaga-powered, Tonkachi, Hattobag, Unicera, Madam, Blue Rod, and Red Whip. This page showcases the upcoming Dreamcast game, Sentimental Graffiti 2, a romance-adventure title from Neo Interchannel. It was previewed at Tokyo Game Show and is currently 55% complete, with a planned release date of January 27, 2000, for 1 player. The page highlights the game's focus on the relationships between the main character and the heroines, revealing event content from the game itself and focusing on the heroines' expressions. 3 cases featuring different heroines are shown. The first case, Case of Chiharu, titled I Misunderstood You, depicts a scene in the rain where the protagonist is filming. Chiharu appears and offers him an umbrella, smiling and saying she misunderstood him, hinting at a prior interaction and reconciliation. The second case, Case of Ayuko, titled Please, No, Please Stop, is set in a cherry blossom park during a photo shoot. Ayuko, a shy girl, is being photographed, but when the conversation shifts to the past, she becomes withdrawn and quiet. The third case, Case of Honoka, titled Like This, takes place at a school festival exhibition. Honoka is looking at her portrait, expressing surprise and slight bewilderment, yet also happiness, at seeing it. The developer message emphasizes the importance of words in conveying feelings, noting that misunderstandings can arise, and that the game will explore the nuances of language and its impact on the heroine's emotions and relationships. The voice actors of True Love Story 2 discuss their roles. Yuka Nishiguchi, the voice of Yunyu, emphasizes Yungyu's unchanging nature and lingering loneliness after a tragic event. Yuchi's connection with the protagonist begins through modeling. Yuchi Nanase, voice of Akira, highlights that the relationship with the protagonist spurred Akira's musical career. She copes with past events by focusing on her violin studies and has become more comfortable with public appearances. Akira Endo, voicing Taeko, describes her character as kind but awkward. The protagonist assists her with her idol work, and the emotional depth of her character is highlighted in a drama scene. Finally, Moyu Arishima, also voicing Taeko, focuses on the character's growth and portrayal of daily life, including her domestic duties and interactions with the protagonist, as a key aspect of the story. This page introduces the Dreamcast version of Pop's Music 2, highlighting it as a music simulation game. It mentions it is scheduled for release on September 14th by Konami, priced at 4,800 yen. The game is described as supporting the Visual Memory Unit, the Popson controller, and VGA output. The page details different gameplay modes, including Survival Mode, where you play through 5 stages consecutively, and Marathon Mode, which offers beginner, half, and full marathon options of continuous play. Characters like Mimi, Nyami, Judy, and Mary are showcased, and the page also promotes the dedicated Popson controller as essential for enjoying the game, suggesting it replicates the arcade experience at home and is compatible with previous versions. The page mentions hidden modes might also be included in this version. This page is about Pop's Music 2 for Dreamcast, emphasizing it has a large volume of content with over 40 songs and 12 original songs for the console version. It highlights returning characters like MZD, who is described as a pinch-hitter character, Pretty, a pink-haired girl who loves teddy bears, King, Richan and Sanechan. The page mentions that Popsin music can be played on the visual memory as a minigame. It also explains that all songs from the previous game are playable in this version, and it supports a pen disc for owners of the previous game. The page details a training mode for practicing, allowing tempo changes, and introduces hidden, mirror, random modes as challenging options for advanced players, hiding notes, flipping the screen, and randomizing notes. Characters Shamal and Koki are mentioned, Shamal having siblings who appear in Disco Queen song, with Koki being in What I Want of Euromix. It mentions a collaboration system with Beatmania. The page is promoting the game's release and features various characters and gameplay modes. This page previews the Dreamcast racing game Speed Devils. Presented at the Tokyo Game Show, the game was 85% complete at the time of writing. Planned for release in November 1999 by Ubisoft, it was priced at 5,800 yen. Speed Devils is described as a dynamic racing game set in America. It supports the VM, racing controllers, rumble packs, and VGA boxes. The page highlights the arcade mode flow, where players select a car, transmission type, and track, emphasizing different American car types and track variations. In-game elements like lap records, position bar, race position, tachometer, speedometer, and nitro gauge are explained, giving details about the game's interface and mechanics. This Dreamcast Magazine page highlights a racing game with 4 unique courses and 6 selectable cars. The Outrageous Guys Straight game features Hollywood, a studio course with movie-set obstacles like dinosaurs, emphasizing sharp turns. Nevada, a high-speed course through Las Vegas and the desert. Mexico, a rocky landscape with natural hazards like lava. And Aspen Winter, a snowy course with challenging ice and slopes, including a risky frozen lake shortcut. Players can choose from 6 cars, each with distinct characteristics, including the balanced Bel Ray, the high-performance Orion and Pirate, the aggressive Thunder, the luxurious Atlantis, and the high-speed Montana. This page is all about creating a professional baseball team in the Dreamcast game Pro Yaku Team o Tsukuru, also known as Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team. It emphasizes that player development is just one aspect of the game, and that successful team management is essential for victory. The page highlights key management strategies, including acquiring foreign players and free agents to strengthen the team, negotiating with draft picks and veteran players, and crucially, managing the fan club's finances. Investing in the fan club is shown as vital, with the tagline, "Customers are gods. Don't be stingy with fan club investment," suggesting fans are a major source of income. The page details budgeting, fan mobilization, and fan appreciation days as methods to improve the team's financial health and popularity. It encourages players to aim to become a business king by mastering both team strength and financial management to achieve ultimate success in the game. This page is about upgrading your baseball stadium to attract more spectators and become a successful owner. It emphasizes that stadium expansion and facilities are the first steps to becoming a business magnate. The page details various stadium upgrades with associated costs, capacity increases, construction times, and maintenance fees. It lists stadium expansion stages from the initial game start to 7 expansions, dome conversion, and building a new stadium. Each stage increases capacity and requires construction, maintenance, and repair costs. There's also a section on ticket pricing, advising against setting prices too high to avoid losing customers. The page highlights stadium facilities like natural grass, premium natural grass, American grass, and artificial turf, each with different construction, maintenance, and repair costs. It also covers installing a large video screen, VIP seats, and shops to improve the stadium experience and boost revenue. The bottom section expresses enthusiasm for Yakutsuku, likely a nickname for a baseball management simulation game, stating that fans will want to support their own team and play in their own field. It mentions that stadium expansion is a key element, and that the ultimate new stadium construction resembles 11 real-life professional baseball stadiums. It talks about choosing stadium types like the home run stadium or Koshin stadium based on fan preferences and playing style, and suggests that selling merchandise at stadium shops is crucial for success. This page is all about side businesses and TV contracts to boost your baseball team's management in a simulation game. It highlights how side businesses can generate extra income to stabilize your finances. The page details various side businesses you can build, such as a goods shop, theme park, parking lot, restaurant, department store, hotel, train station, and airport, each with different construction costs, maintenance fees, construction periods, and unique benefits to attract more customers and increase revenue. Additionally, the page talks about special events triggered by these side businesses that provide even more income. Screenshots illustrate events related to a theme park, restaurant, and department store, suggesting interactive elements and visual feedback. Finally, it introduces TV contracts, where partnering with different TV stations can impact your team. There are stations like Furusato TV, Asunaro TV, Okiraku TV, Nikoni Ko TV, and Satellite Top, each with varying contract fees and conditions. Signing with higher stations offers better broadcast fees and can even boost player abilities. But they also have stricter requirements, such as team popularity or league performance. Choosing the right TV station is crucial for both financial gains and team development. This page features information about the baseball simulation game Yakyuu Tsukuro. An interview with the game's planner, Baba Hokuto, highlights the game's launch availability and popularity. Gameplay discussions cover pitcher rotation strategies in tournament mode, emphasizing team color considerations. Another section explains the relationship between error count and defensive strength, promoting strong fielding lineups. Developer staff recommendations include player choices like Shinjo Tsuyoshi and Maeda Tomonori, showcasing the game's depth and team-building mechanics through training and resource management. An urgent announcement promotes a Yakyuu Tsukuro network tournament at the Tokyo Game Show 99 Autumn, with free entry for Sega members and open to all, offering prizes and featuring unlimited in-game years and DH rule enabled.
This article offers strategy tips for New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tukan Retsuden 4 on Dreamcast, focusing on maximizing wrestler strength. The wrestler strength pursuit method emphasizes dash attacks and quick get-ups as effective, independent of the game's close-range combat system. Dash attacks are particularly strong against opponents with low dash attack ratings. While powerful, the article warns against over-reliance on these tactics, citing an evil example wrestler as a cautionary tale. The Golden Pro Wrestling Club advises limiting dash attacks to under 25% and get-ups to under 60% to maintain a more strategic, pro wrestling-like style. The article recommends balancing dash attack and get-up percentages and prioritizing ground techniques, like key locks and leg locks, to develop a well-rounded wrestler.
A wrestling game preview focuses on a GPW vs Ukes 3 vs 3 elimination match. The article details several matches. Tachibana Jr. defeats John Lemon by KO in 5:41 using a dash wrestling style. Kuroyasha, known for strength, wins against Maetayama Kiyoshi in 4:48 by KO. Kazaguruma Riran utilizes a dash-heavy style to defeat Terasoman Z in 9:07 via Tiger Suplex. Lastly, Narohama wins against Beauty Hote in 11:42 with a Tiger Driver, featuring dash-based attacks. The game also reveals unlockable hidden wrestlers, Antonio Inoki with a burning fighting spirit style, and Riki Choshu, known for powerful lariats, unlocked by completing specific game modes.
This page is from a series in the magazine called New Japan Pro Wrestling. It features an interview with professional wrestler Yuji Nagata. The title of the article is Unmasked Super Warrior and Yuji Nagata Player Round 2. The interview discusses his wrestling career, including how he got started in amateur wrestling in college, his initial interest sparked by watching wrestling and reading manga as a child, and his progression to professional wrestling. He mentions enjoying moving his body since childhood, participating in various sports like baseball, soccer, track and field, and swimming. The interview delves into his decision to turn pro, which was influenced by a conversation with a member of the House of Counselors named Arisawa-sensei, who scouted him at the All Japan Amateur Wrestling Championship. Nagata discusses the differences in training methods between amateur and professional wrestling, noting the increased emphasis on running in amateur wrestling. The profile section gives his full name as Yuji Nagata, his birth date is April 24, 1968, birthplace as Kashiwa City, Chiba Prefecture, and details his debut in 1992 at the Matsue City General Gymnasium. It highlights his wrestling style, which incorporates suplexes, joint techniques, and kicks. The profile also mentions his victory in the IWGP Tag Team Championship and his partnership with another wrestler. This page is an interview with professional wrestler Yuji Nagata discussing the game Tukan Retsuden 4. He talks about how the game accurately represents professional wrestling techniques and how it captures the intensity of matches, even highlighting his signature move, the Nagata Lock. Now, Nagata mentions his experience in amateur wrestling and how that influenced his professional style. He also discusses the game's fighting system,
emphasizing the importance of stamina and strategy. The interview covers his career, training, and his thoughts on adapting his real-life wrestling style to the video game. He also talks about his experiences wrestling in America and how that influenced his self-reliance and belief in his own abilities. The interview ends with Nagata encouraging readers to come to live wrestling events, highlighting the unique emotional experience they offer compared to video games. The next page is all about hidden elements in Cool Borders Burn for Dreamcast. This article reveals how to unlock secret courses and boards within the game. First up is Course 4, Cave Slider. To unlock this course, you need to complete Course 3, and within that course, rank in the top 3 in any of the time, trick, or total ranking categories. Alternatively, just play the game for a cumulative total of 2 hours.
Next is Course 5, Dancing Devils.
To unlock this course, you need to clear Course 4 with a total score ranking within the top 3. Another method is to simply accumulate 4 hours of total playtime. Finally, for hidden board designs, specifically, All-Round Type B, Type 01. Unlock it by using an all-round board and achieving a top 3 ranking in freeride mode 10 times. Courses do not matter. Type 02. Unlock it by using an all-round board and destroying 54 or more obstacles in obstacle mode. Courses do not matter. Type 03. Unlock it by using an all-round board and reaching the goal, 16 times in script mode. Courses do not matter. There's also a mention of a DC Specialized Magazine counterboard design contest, where you can download special boards, hinting at downloadable content for the game. This page reveals all the hidden costumes for characters in Cool Borders Burn. It showcases the alternate costumes for characters like Excel in a JRA style, Tia with a layer style, Monica sporting a dance style, DJ Ken in an Afro style, Ronnie with an American football style, and Bob in a gang style. Each costume has specific unlock conditions that players need to meet to access them in the game, such as achieving rankings in certain courses or completing specific objectives. The page also announces a Dream Magazine Cup Score Attack competition for Cool Borders Burn. It details the rules and how to participate, inviting players to submit their high scores online using replay data. The competition offers a limited edition Cool Borders Burn board as a prize, and the entry deadline is September 24th. Finally, the page teases the unveiling of second hidden characters in Cool Borders Burn, suggesting even more unlockable content beyond the costumes. Screenshots on the page show the characters in their alternate costumes and in-game menus related to character and costume selection. This guide focuses on Course 4, Cave Slider, in Cool Borders, a time attack course emphasizing line choice and crash avoidance. It details 3 routes, left, center, and right, each offering different time optimization strategies. Section 1 describes each route, providing screenshots with example timings. The left route offers times like 72.2 seconds. The center route shows 71.4 seconds with manual tricks, and the right route achieves times as low as 64.2 seconds. Section 2 covers the trick area after point 1, highlighting the need for long ollies and potential 2 combo mystic 720 degrees tricks using fences on the right route. A course map with numbered locations, 1 to 7, is also included. Finally, the guide explains how to perform the manual trick. This page is a strategy guide for Cool Borders on Dreamcast, detailing route and trick advice for various sections of a course. Section 3 advises players to maintain a line on the cliff edge without crashing, suggesting a trick upon landing and early turning inwards to avoid falling. Section 4 describes the split from the road and the trick area, again suggesting turning inwards early after exiting point 3 and jumping towards the road ahead from the trick area. Section 5 highlights a shortcut in the stalactite cave, advising players to take the lower route marked by the stone pillars, then navigate through the stalactites diagonally to the right for a faster path. Section 6 focuses on the upper route trick area, noting it has multiple steps. It mentions that landing tricks might be limited if speed is insufficient, leading to a potential fall. Section 7 is about the 3-way split trick area, advising players to choose the left or center route. The left route is slightly faster but risky if you fall. It also mentions that the trick area ahead has height, allowing for 3 combo tricks. Finally, the page discusses exiting the ice field and heading towards the trick area and goal, recommending sticking to the course edges to avoid crevasses and then aiming for the edge of the last trick area before jumping for the goal, which is also on land. This page focuses on the Soul Calibur text adventure mode titled The Sealed Eye Shadow Chapter. It highlights this mode as a password-protected special feature accessible through Art Gallery Special Art Purchase. The text adventure is described as a gamebook-like experience starring Taki, beginning after the events of Soul Edge. The story sees Taki returning to Japan to confront the threat of the sealed demonic sword. She investigates the source of evil energy and a mysterious pillar of light in Spain, Polafront. Players can choose between two main paths: domestic investigation or escape abroad, each further branching into Mayo route and Asa route. The page also teases original illustrations within the text adventure and reveals some gameplay secrets for the practice mode, such as replay speed adjustments and the demo loop background changing depending on the Dreamcast's internal clock and month, exemplified by a Keelix screenshot with a background changing through different months. This Soul Calibur Dreamcast strategy guide focuses on extra missions, unlocking them by clearing all missions. Completing missions with 1 or 2 in the name unlocks specific Chaos Heart image worlds. The guide details 16 extra missions, each with a difficulty rating of 4, and strategy tips. These tips often involve using ringouts, exploiting specific character strengths, and adapting to unique mission mechanics, such as opponents becoming stronger with damage, needing aerial attacks, or having health regeneration. Specific character recommendations are offered, such as Killik for guard breaks, Mitsurugi for combos, or Sophidia for aerial attacks. The guide also notes time-based stage and character variations, where stages change background themes and characters may be featured. Stage 4 of Martian successor Nadesico. The mission tasks players with repairing the Nadesico's engine on Mars. Players can choose to progress directly to Mission 11 after finding a research facility, or explore all missions. The player must find 2 research facilities to obtain engine parts. Gameplay involves navigating the map, locating the research facilities with Estebalis or Goat, and completing various missions. The Unscheduled Landing Crew section advises players to find Izumi by selecting communication during a conversation. Mission 10 requires protecting the immobile Nadesico against unmanned weapons using Estebalis, and recommends the Super Estebalis. The stage includes a fishing event with Saburota that yields items and enemy waves. Defeating a fort makes certain enemies unavailable. This page details missions 11 and 12 of a strategy game, likely related to the anime series Martian successor Nadesico, although the game title itself is not explicitly stated. Mission 11, Nurugul Research Facility Search, involves choosing between Operation A and Operation B. Operation A focuses on defeating enemies quickly to acquire items, while Operation B is about recovering items with 1 unit, while 3 others engage enemies. The map shows locations of batteries and parts. Enemy units include Estebaris mass production types and Jolo. Mission 12, New Leader, shows a different map and mentions deploying units in strategic locations to counter enemy units described as Wood-type linked evasion and Nightlight Sky. The page also includes dialogue between characters Enos and Ruri, and comments on Harley's character, suggesting adventure elements are within the game. The text emphasizes strategic deployment and resource management, particularly battery management for Estebaris units. This page focuses on user submissions related to the game World Neverland Plus, Olarud Kingdom Stories. It features 2 comic strips titled Hyde and Rosanna, which seem to depict humorous in-game relationship scenarios. Additionally, there are sections addressing player questions about game items, specifically Cecilia's Droplet and Im's Fund, explaining their in-game purpose and effects. The page also touches upon gameplay tips for winning matches, suggesting strategy, observation, and personality traits as contributing factors to success. This page is dedicated to user submissions for 4-panel manga comics themed around the Old World Kingdom game. It features several example submissions with titles like Selection, Curse, Night Dawn, Birth Sorting Method, Popularity, and Cannot Stand It. The page provides guidelines for submitting your own 4-koma manga, including size specifications and the submission address. It also mentions that the next theme for submissions will be love. This section is all about fan-created content for Old World Kingdom, and not related to game reviews or previews directly. The next page is an advertisement for the second parent-child Buggy Heat Championship Tournament on Dreamcast. This event allows up to 8 participants to test their skills in Buggy Heat. The tournament application period is from September 15th to September 27th, with the tournament itself on October 1st and results announced on October 4th onwards. The final winners will be announced in mid-October via the Buggy Heat homepage and Dorimaga magazine. The tournament rules are outlined, stating no restrictions on machine, course, or settings. Courses are randomly selected for each match. Each participant can enter with one character and submit up to 8 data entries. Matches will be held at CRI. Grid positions are determined by lottery. Races are 1 lap, except for the top 8 onwards, which are 3 laps, and boost is always enabled. Exciting prizes are on offer, including a real RC car for the overall winner and luxury prizes for the top-ranking entrants. All participants will have their deviation value assessed. There are several ways to apply: uploading data through Dream Passport 2, mailing Dream Passport 2 data, or sending a visual memory directly by post. Application details and contact information are provided, including a URL and email address. This page is an article about Sakura Wars Columns 2 for the Dreamcast, announcing its upcoming appearance at the Tokyo Game Show '99. There's an interview with Sega producer Mr. Nonaka about the game's development. The interview discusses the game being about 70% complete at the time of the interview, and that it is aiming for a winter release. They discuss the story mode, which will be fully voiced and tailored to each character. The communication battle mode is also mentioned. Mr. Nonaka confirms that Sakura Wars Columns 2 will be exhibited at the Tokyo Game Show '99 and encourages fans to come and play the demo. The page also features a Red Company report section, where Red Company's Mori Fujishi playfully infiltrates Sega's headquarters to report on the game. Finally, there's a Tokyo Game Show '99 check section, confirming the dates of the event as September 18th and 19th at Makuhari Messe, and highlighting that Sakura Wars Columns 2 will be playable at the Sega booth. Fans are encouraged to come and experience the game firsthand and potentially challenge Mr. Nonaka and Mori Fujishi to a match. The page also has screenshots from Sakura Wars Columns 2 showing character selection and gameplay, featuring characters from the Sakura Wars series in a column-style puzzle game. This page is all about Capcom and kicks off with an announcement for an illustration contest for the 3D fighting action game Tech Romancer, originally titled Kikai-O in Japan and released on the Dreamcast. They're asking for illustrations related to the game, and selected artwork might even appear in the Dreamcast version of Tech Romancer and the staff roll. Also featured is news about Capcom goods being sold at the Tokyo Game Show '99 autumn. They highlight that Capcom merchandise will be a big hit, especially items related to the misadventures of Tron Bonne, Power Stone, Resident Evil, and Dino Crisis. A Capcom-branded blue and yellow bag is pictured as an example of the merchandise. Finally, there's an article section titled Shaky Akitomo's Monster Night Tales, Part 13, Increasing Stimulation, Vampire 13. It looks like a column discussing mature themes and the appeal of vampire stories in horror. The article features a picture of Shaky Akitomo himself, a man in a suit and hat. The next page is titled Dreamcastrology Weekly Horoscopes. This page presents weekly horoscopes for different zodiac signs from September 10th to September 16th. Each zodiac sign section is categorized for boys and girls and includes ratings for overall luck, money luck, health luck, love luck, and work luck, along with advice. The page features cute illustrations of each zodiac sign and brief descriptions of the horoscope for each sign. There's also a Lucky Person of the Week feature, highlighting Kana Kirishima from Sakura Wars 2, who was born on September 7th. Suggesting readers to try a new fashion style to attract someone's attention and encourage conversation. This page is a reader prize giveaway. Up for grabs are Dreamcast software, a life-size standee of a character from the Japan-exclusive game Idol Jockey wo Tsukuchou, signed promotional items from the band METAMO, boxes of Dragon Quest Monsters, Trading Battle Card 2, and Orange Range CDs. The page also lists the magazine's staff members. The information section announces the next issue is releasing on September 17th and previews the October 1st issue's contents. Upcoming content includes interviews with Sega creators discussing the 2000s and Sega's future, a Tokyo Game Show guide, and a report from the AM show featuring unreleased titles. Strategy guides are highlighted for Soul Calibur, Pro Baseball Team Otsukuru, Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden, Colony no Ochita Chide, and Mobile Battleship Nadesico The Mission. Dead or Alive 2 and Out Trigger are previewed under the NAOMI section. The page concludes by asking about the Tokyo Game Show and CESA's goals for the 21st century, and provides the magazine's website address. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Espionagents. It's described as an industrial agents for active espionage game. You become the boss of an industrial spy team, codenamed Boss, and with 7 subordinates you undertake various client requests. The game features parallel sight screen displays, showing 4 screens simultaneously, allowing you to manage the actions of your 4 team members at the same time. The gameplay involves making strategic decisions and leading your team to success. The advertisement also mentions an exhibition with new game information, amateur works, and unreleased videos, with a website address provided: http://www.nihit.gr.jp/. There's also an events section which mentions Turb fans and cute characters, along with a shop section for rare goods. An event called Battle Turb Festival is announced from October 1, 1999, with the website http://www.hatch.co.jp/ provided for more details. This page is an advert for the Dreamcast golf game called Let's Golf, originally titled Golf Shiyuyo, Course Daisakusen in Japan. It highlights features like various gameplay rules, internet play, smooth 60 frames per second animation, and realistic playthrough collaboration with golf equipment maker Casco. The game is scheduled for release in late November, with a price of 3,980 yen, excluding tax.